Hello, my name is Creostix, and welcome back to Ace Attorney, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, and episode 5, Wright from the Ashes. Yes. Here we go. Especially now that I sort of secretly know what basically happened. That intro is really cool to see. Again, I'm being quiet about what happened, but I'm just like, because I've played this before. Again, I can't do voices, and if I try, it really just eats my throat out. So I'll try to like read them in my normal, hopefully good radio voice. Okay, cool. It's been 2 months since Maya left the office. 2 months without a single trial. I've had offers, but none I took. That is, until the day that girl showed up. February 22nd, 10:02 a.m., Wright & Co. Law Offices. Why do I come here to the office every day? It's not like I want to work. There you are, finally. Where you been? My sister's trial is tomorrow. She's a cool character, I like her. Who are you? It doesn't matter who I am, it only matters who you are. The famous defense attorney, Mia Fey. Have you seen my face? Are you sure? Oh, you're not Mia Fey, are you? Yeah, it's cool detecting there. I'm sorry, but Miss Mia Fey no longer works here. Because she's, so you are... She died in case 2, as we remember, unfortunately. I miss her. She's been around through spirit channeling, though, but details. So you are the coffee boy? I'm Phoenix Wright, a defense attorney. Right. Wait! You're the Phoenix Wright. The Phoenix Wright from the Edgeworth murder case. Yes, that's correct. It wasn't Edgeworth who was murdered, though. That's a relief, then. You're better than nobody. I'm sorry, I'm afraid I'm not taking cases right now. But you're Phoenix Wright, right? The undefeated defense attorney. Look, I'm not accepting any new cases. I'm sorry, but you'll have to try elsewhere. Please, I'm out of time. But... Please, you have to help. It's my sister. That scene still, like, tugs at my, like, heartstrings. It's... when I first played Case 2, I was really shocked when that happened, and it still, like, makes me feel like, ooh... It, like, grabbed me a little inside to see that. It's really sad. Ugh. Whew. Okay, I'll hear you out. Really? Thank you so much. My name's Emma. Emma Skye. I'm a scientific investigator. Scientific investigator. Emma, was it? So you're a scientific investigator. Yes, that's right. Is something wrong? No, it's just you seem kind of jumpy, or maybe just young. Young? I'll be 16 years old this year. Oh, I see. Wait, only 16? I'm set to be formally assigned to forensics in 3 more years. My work is becoming quite well known at my age, no less. So what exactly is your current position then? Well, legally speaking, I guess you'd call me an 11th grader. I super don't remember the dialogue anymore immediately. Oh, man. But I'm ready to do my job at my age, no less. Great, another future professional in training. So, what's this about a case? You said the trial's tomorrow. My sister didn't do it. She wouldn't stab someone with a knife. She wouldn't. So, it's a murder case. I don't care if there's a witness who saw her do it. She didn't do it. I know she didn't do it. It's a scientific fact. And there's a witness. Just talk to her. You have to talk to her. Right. I suppose I will. I promised her I'd bring Mia Fey, but that's interesting. How would she know Mia? So you want to be a scientific investigator when you grew up, then? Excuse me? I'm not a child, I'll have you know. Still, it's good to have a goal, albeit a very unusual one. I believe investigations should be done scientifically. Don't you? I mean, she's not wrong. Yeah, sure, can't fault her for a lack of enthusiasm. If this case is handled scientifically, I'm sure my sister's name will be cleared. Your sister? I've been doing research, you know. I'm developing a new scientific method of case investigation. I'll show you when I'm done. I'm looking forward to it. Guess I should get down to the detention center and talk to her sister. But we will exhaust the dialogue first. My sister asked from Mia specifically. This Mia Fey person was a few years below her in school. So they went to the same school, huh? She always told me to go to Mia if I ever needed a defense attorney. And, well, I need one. Incidentally, Mia is a woman. Now that you mention it, I guess it is more of a woman's name than a man's. Well, not judging, I suppose. Well, it's nice of you to help your sister out like this. You must be close. Well, actually, when she gets like she is now, I kind of hate her. But she's my only family. Your only family? What about your parents? They died in a car accident when I was little. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, well, I suppose I need to move to the detention center then. To investigate the stuff and stuff. February 22nd, detention center visitors room. I wonder what's wrong with Emma. She got quiet all of a sudden as soon as we arrived. Guard, I thought I told you I didn't want visitors. Sorry, ma'am. It's just your sister. No excuses. Or did you not want a raise this year, understood, ma'am. What was that all about? Hi, Lana. Funny. I seem to remember specifically telling you not to come here. Perhaps my memory is failing. Look, I didn't want to come here either, okay? But your trial's tomorrow and you still don't have a defense attorney. I'll be the one in court tomorrow. This has nothing to do with you, Emma. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? Hey, how do you know me? Turnabout Uno. Interestingly, this is the only case in the entire series that doesn't have the word turnabout in it. It's kind of like, odd. Well, I mean, it is the like added for the DS, and it wasn't in the GBA version, but you know, still. How do you know me? Mia mentioned you. I've heard quite a bit. I'm sorry. What exactly is it that you do? My name is Lana Skye. I'm chief prosecutor for this district. You're a prosecutor? Two sisters, one a lawyer. Could this be a coincidence? Emma, Lana. I mean, they're just like... Yeah, I get it. Like Mia and Maya, in some ways. in many ways. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Okie dokie. Let's have a conversation about this. There's something you should know from the start. Which is... the suspect in this case has confessed to the crime. Huh? Wait, but the suspect is... me. I did it. Well, Mr. Wright... well, why don't you begin by telling me exactly what happened? The crime took place yesterday, February 21st at 5:15 p.m. That's quite specific. It was in the witness's deposition. A witness clearly saw me committing the crime. That was a bit of bad luck, wasn't it? The crime took place in the underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. The body was found in the trunk of my subordinate's car. The prosecutor's office, huh? In your subordinate's car trunk. Classy. I was arrested on the spot, caught red-handed as it were. Well, that's just great. Speaking of, there's a random notion. I just yesterday finished a ghost trick on the DS, made by the same, main mind, I think, than Ace Attorney. Very good. Much like, I loved it a lot. But, moving on. The victim. So who was the victim? An investigator with the police department. I suppose the correct term is detective. A detective? Death was due to a loss of blood. He was stabbed once in the stomach. By you? Death wasn't immediate, but the wound was fatal. I see. Allow me to repeat myself, Mr. Wright. The victim was a detective. You know what that means, don't you? Uh-oh. What, Mr. Wright? What does it mean? Well, it means the police department will consider it a matter of pride to have me found guilty. They will use any means at their disposal to do so. This case gets worse and worse with everything I learn. So you're the chief prosecutor. That is correct. I'm responsible for overseeing every trial handled by prosecutors in this district. I make sure the prosecutors have what they need to do the job and manage every aspect. Those are my responsibilities in a nutshell. That's an awfully large nutshell. Still, I'm a little surprised. I would think you'd recognize the district's chief prosecutor, Mr. Wright. Huh? In fact, it seems impossible you wouldn't. Lana? What happened to your hand? Fair question. Oh, this? I cut myself by accident when I stabbed him, that is. Thanks, that's helpful. You're really going for the team here. Huh? I'm not very good at being a criminal, I suppose. How am I supposed to defend this? Time to change the subject. Wait, she was in the class ahead of Mia, wasn't she? You were in school with Mia, correct? A few years above her. Emma told you that too, did she? Well, why not? I did drag him all the way here from his office. Although it seems he has very little in common with Mia. Hey. It was in law school. I was in my 3rd year and she was auditing the class. She was different than the other students. Different. She was strong. She'd do anything to become a defense attorney. Anything. That was probably why she was attracted to me. Excuse me? Intellectually attracted, yes. Lana was top of her class in school. I was the best there was. Oh, right. Okay, I was... Wait, I didn't remember. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good in school too, by the way. It sounds a bit different when Emma says it. Well, Mr. Wright. Excuse me? As you can plainly see, I am admitting my guilt. I think it's safe to say, there's no way you can take this case. None. But Lana! Why? Why are you doing this to me? You never think of anyone but yourself. I know you didn't do it, Lana. I know. So, how can you say you did? If I lose you, I'll be all alone. I hate you, Lana. Mr. Wright? Yes? I believe our discussion here is ended. The rest, I leave to you. You mean you're requesting my services as your defense? Don't lose any sleep over it. Your client has confessed after all. The case is over. Right, I'll do what I can to get to the bottom of this. Lana has confessed to the crime, yes, but something doesn't fit. It's that look in Emma's eyes. There's something else going on here, and I'm going to find out what. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. About what? There was no transition screen with like the Wright and Co. offices at this clock then. There usually is. I didn't notice that before. There is one in every transition in the game, except for that one. Like, we moved away from the detention center. So, that's... Interesting. My sister, she's not always like that, you know. I just never expect to be defending another prosecutor again. Like, it doesn't matter, but it's just, like, interesting. She's changed a lot. She used to be so gentle, always smiling. Everybody liked her. I see. Sorry, but I'm having trouble imagining that. What happened to her? I don't know for certain myself. I think maybe well, maybe not. Sounds like there's something there that defies a simple scientific explanation. Let's go check out this underground parking at the prosecutor's office, shall we? Okay. Before we do that, let's quick examine of the place, though. Mia's plant, Charlie. I've been taking care of him in Maya's absence. Looks like it's cleaning day again at the hotel across the way. I hear they're planning a second branch outside the city. Egads, the bellboy was staring right at me. I super appreciate that in the HD version it gives these like yellow spots in where to check stuff, because in the DS version or the 3DS version they weren't there. Not a big deal, but a good quality of life change though. I like it. There's a poster of the Steel Samurai on the wall. Maya stuck it up here on the other day as she left. I didn't have the heart to take it down. I do sometimes get strange looks from the clients though. World building! A difficult-looking legal book stand in a formidable row. They mock me. I tried reading one, and it made my head hurt. When I closed it, it slipped off my hand, and my foot hurt too. Mia's desk. I sit here even less now that I've stopped taking cases. I ought to at least dust it off once in a while. I think that's all there is to this place. Yeah. I think. Yeah, the lamp wasn't the yeah, cool. And I've checked all the... yeah. Do you want to see my badge? See this? It's my attorney's badge. Ah, well, I've never seen a real one before. You're the first one who's actually been interested in mine, believe me. Its composition is mostly silver. The gold plating is flaking a bit. She analyzed it scientifically. There doesn't appear to be any corrosion due to sulfides. I'd give you $50 for it. Sorry, but it's not for sale. Yet. Okay, parking lot. Here we go. Let's investigate. February 22nd, Prosecutor's Office, underground parking lot. So this is the lot where it all happened. Looks like they're still investigating. Funny, that my first visit to the Prosecutor's Office should be like this. Hey everyone, keep up the good work! Hey, what are you thinking? Well, they are going to be my co-workers 3 years from now after all. No harm in saying hello. Actually, there is. You know, attorneys aren't supposed to examine crime scenes. I'm trying not to stand out too much here, see? Hey there! You expecting to go unnoticed here, partner? Partner? What do we have here? Looks like a bambina got loose from the ranch and it's up to no good. Folks gotta learn to keep them doggies tied down, partner. Mr. Marshall! Marshall looks more like a sheriff to me. Looky here, Bambina. I know how you feel. But this is my gang's gold strike, see? Strike? This is our claim, our territory, with a mother load of evidence. If you're fixing to mess with what's ours, you'll regret it, partner. You know what dreams the cacti out in the desert dream? You want to? That's a really weird sentence, but cool. Like, it's not wrong, but it confused me a bit. What's this guy talking about? And it confused Phoenix as well. You head along home now. Happy trails, Bambina. Oh, man. Was that a hombre, a friend of yours? Kind of, sort of. Yeah, he's a detective. Yep, that's a good thing to read for sure there. Who thinks he's the sheriff from the Wild West, it seems. Okay, so the first thing that always check the step ladders. Aha, a ladder. That's a step ladder. What's the difference in scientific terms, please? Scientific, huh? Look at the basic nature of things, Mr. Wright. This all seems so horribly familiar somehow. What's this? A wallet? Excuse me, officer. Wait, what are you doing, Mr. Wright? What am I doing? If I just found this wallet, so I'm handing it over to the police. I don't believe it. This is real basic. Anything at a crime scene is evidence. Let's be scientific about this, please. Just put it in your pocket. How is that scientific? Sounds like theft to me. Wallet hastily stuffed into pocket. A foldable wallet found at the crime scene. There seems to be something inside. I'm called to duty already, and at my tender age. Here, I'll teach you the trick to examining evidence in detail, okay? By the way, here her eyes are sparkling. I can tell she's been waiting for this. Okay, now, look at the court record. I have no idea how this is gonna work with a controller. It was a little tricky with the DS as well, so you have to be sure to examine evidence carefully on all sides. Now let's start examining from every angle. Okay, so rotating is... okay, cool. Oh look, I think there might be a clue here. You should check it out with a press of the A button. Yeah, that works out. This is an ID card. Sergeant Bruce Goodman, ID 5842189. See? Well, isn't scientific investigation useful? I guess, though I don't really see what science has to do with it. Goodman's ID added to the court record. An investigator's ID found at the prosecutor's office. Crime scene ID 5842189. Let's be sure to examine every piece of evidence we find. I guess I've got to be on my toes from now on. From what you found in the fanfic, Edgeworth and Oldback got married. Oh, that sounds like an ordeal for sure. Oh boy. Look, a door. This must mean something. I'm not sure that doors mean anything. No, it won't open. A mysterious lock. I fail to see what's mysterious about it. Mr. Wright, you need to learn to enjoy life more. Let's finish our investigation first, shall we? Look, a stylish glass-walled room. Very nice. You could see the whole parking lot from in there. It says security. Perhaps it's a cafe. Huh? Cafe security. Yeah, that must be it. Let's check it out later. I hate to break it to you, but I think that's probably just a security guard office. You know, I scored a 97 on my science test the other day. Too bad they don't have test for common sense. Damon got out because he told an officer that there's a $50 in the basement of the prison. Oh, goody. Okie dokie. Just check hotspots. This is where the cars leave the lot. The arrow on the ground makes it look more like an entrance. What are you talking about? It's plainly an exit. Well, maybe it's both, kind of a dual purpose. Aha! The theory of relativity. What? I've got to write this down. Ah, hey, Mr. Wright. Maybe you know, was Mr. Relativity German or was he British? Mr. Relativity, are you sure that was his name? Awesome. Okay. This wall is in our way. It's got a faucet for water. Wait, I know. This wall is merely a facade hiding the truth. This isn't a wall, but a water tank. I fail to see how it makes any difference either way. Here, a phone. Let's see if it works. Hey, don't touch stuff we don't need to be touching. I can't hear anything. My ears, no, my ears. Maybe it's due to the barometric pressure. What is she babbling about? Hey, what did you just say? See, you can hear just fine. The phone's broken. Oh yeah, I asked people to send me the fanfics. You asked people to send you fanfics, and someone made a joke fanfic of the Apollo X sushi ship. I'm under the vague impression that some people were indeed shipping those two before they reached the story point where they're like, oh, ah. Oh, right. That's oof. And what we learned from that is never ship anyone in Ace Attorney until you're super sure that people still ship them because they don't care about the legal system. It's not even the legal system, it's just really weird and creepy to me, because, like, yeah. And, like, not very, like, you know, like, let's, like, oh, well, I mean, there are many kinds of people in the world, and we are not going to understand all of them. That's a good life philosophy, I would imagine then. Oh man. Well, no time to waste. Let's get to hunting for clues. I wonder what this is. Well, partner, looks like you got no intention of going home quietly. Oh, hi again. The sheriff. Like I said before, this here is our claim. You'd best be moseying along. Unless you're fixing to bite the bullet. Gah, scary. Could you just tell us one thing? Who owns that car? Well, the little filly's got a good nose on her. You want to know who rides that red Mustang with the body in her saddle, huh? Please. No problem, partner. About time for victuals anyway. Get yourself to the saloon up on the 12th floor of the Prosecutor's office. Might just find you a cerveza you like. And this fanfic did take place 2 years after AA6. I'll take your word for it. Prospector's office. Where does this guy think he is, and when, for that matter? Note to self, look up Vittles, Saloon Cerveza. Maybe we should check out room 1202, the High Prosecutor's office. It's a good joke fic. I'll take your word for it for sure. If you say so. And again, as long as you're having fun reading him, right? That's That's the important bit, you know. In any case, stay away from the car. You can look around here all you like, but just keep your paws off our claim. Right, great. Great, maybe there are some clues around here, Mr. Wright. Let's check it out. Excuse me? Were you two all set? Us? Hi. What's this? She couldn't be. You're selling lunches here? This is a crime scene. Hello, half and half, was it? Oh, thanks. And you, sir? Yes? Some crunchy goodness coming at you. Thanks. Interesting way of doing business. This area is off limits to anyone without a clearance, especially passers-by. Or are you officers? No, but you don't exactly look like the type to have a clearance. Well, that's hardly a way to greet someone. Even if my days as the cough-up queen are over. Cough-up? You know, I'm feeling kind of full. Maybe I'll pass on lunch. I'm quite connected to this case, you see. The images are burned into my eyes, you might say. Yes, all the sordid secrets. Secrets? Dear me, you are a slow one, aren't you? I'm referring to the murder, the stabbing of that detective. What? A witness clearly saw me committing the crime. You mean you're the witness my sister was talking about? Please, cough up, Queen, tell us what happened. The name is Angel Star. Don't you go forgetting it. Or before you know it, I'll have you whimpering at my heels. Yes, ma'am. Yep, she means it. What's up with all the dominatrix stuff in history? Like this one, and then there's the one Karma lady. Ah. So again, there's an achievement for getting all of the like lunchbox moments, and it's super visible. So I'm trying to like keep up with what I do have and don't. Okay, cool. Somehow I knew. Yesterday was a day of destiny. I knew something was going to happen. Just like I know that the daily special on Friday every week is salmon. Destiny was yesterday's special for some reason? You're a defense attorney, right? You should know then. You should know the foul misdeeds of the evil ones who haunt this den of inequity. Evil ones? Prosecutors, they have no qualms at all about blackening the name of innocence. And yesterday they paid homage to the most evil one of all. They gave an award for King of Prosecutors. What a farce. So she's saying there was some sort of prosecutors convention yesterday. I was almost compelled to lace their lunches with something foul. Do you have a personal grievance against prosecutors or something? Or is there some kind of scientific evidence of this, evil? Young miss, mock me at your own risk. You'll soon find out why they call me the cough-up queen. Ew! The most heinous of all the evil ones, the one they awarded yesterday. It was in his car that they found the body. Proof that he devours the evilest lunches of all. Really? Really what? I'm totally confused. One thing's clear, this lunch lady has a thing against prosecutors. So what exactly was it that you witnessed, Miss Starr? It was a fascinating spectacle, to be sure. I now feel I know what they say when they talk about a woman's wrath. To see Lana Skye wield that knife so. Her knife flashed in anger, bringing him to a sad end. It was truly a sight to see. You mean you saw the very moment of the crime? The sound of his silvery ties to this world being cruelly cut still rings in my ears. And the rhythmic beat of Lana Skye's knife. Wait a second, you know Lana Skye? Of course, it's quite a feat becoming chief prosecutor. How many lunchboxes of sin did she pack to make that journey, I wonder? She always travels light. Now, why would this pretty lunch lady know the chief prosecutor's name? Could we ask you a bit about yourself, Miss Star? I come here every day to sell lunches. I import only the freshest and best from the Far East. For some reason, the box lunches are a hit here. Why not make the lunches here rather than import them? Did you say something? No? Only true connoisseurs can understand. The kind you can only tell someone who has tried General Tso's trilobite lunch set. Never mind, you win. I don't even want to appreciate part of a trilobite's flavor. Anyway, I come here every day to sell lunches. My boyfriend works in the security room here at the prosecutor's office. Your boyfriend? See the security room over there? The glass-walled booth? I sell my lunches, and since I'm here anyway, I drop in to see him. Since you're here anyway, I guess selling lunches is more important than romance. So to scientifically analyze the data available so far, you, Miss Star, are a lunch vendor with an ulterior motive for coming here. Useful analysis, not. Before I talk the last thing, I just want to do a thing just so that I get this. A defense attorney must be able to fight. How about you? Do you think you can win? How about tackling Lunchland's Pickle Supreme Lunchbox? Wow, it's really crunchy. A box of pickles? Kind of sad lunch if you ask me. Cool. Did you have a bad experience with the prosecutor, Miss Star? I sense some hostility. Hostility? Ha, perhaps. Prosecutors are all alike, and the bigger they get, the worse they smell. Okay, kind of like 10-day-old clams in the chowder. I wonder if Miss Star was involved in some sort of legal trouble in the past. But that'd be a sure cause of food poisoning, scientifically speaking, of course. I mean, now you're talking, cough-up queen. I thought she was just a lunch vendor, but now I'm not so sure. Okay, so that's supposedly all of them. Let's just, to be sure, let's just present this one as well. About this card. Lunchland vendors only accept cash, no cards. Especially not a card belonging to someone else. No, this isn't a credit card. It's an ID card. It belongs to a detective. And you're showing this to me, the lunch lady, why? That's like showing a fine honeyed ham to a detective. Why do I always feel like I'm being mocked? Hey, it's important to check the details. Here we go. High Prosecutor's Office. Yay, Edgeworth's place. The code gives it away anyway. And this samurai thing too. February 22nd, High Prosecutor's Office, room 1202. This is the kind of room that just screams I can do the job. Quite a change from your office, really. Thanks. Look, there's a trophy or something here. A trophy? What, that shield? It takes real nerve to display stuff like this. Whoever's office this is, they must be a real stuck-up jerk. Phoenix Wright. You never tire of prying into other people's business, do you? That voice. Hi, Miles. Long time no see, Edgeworth. Huh? Ah! Mr. Edgeworth! You know him from somewhere? Of course, I'm his biggest fan. My sister introduced us once and... Right. Her sister is the chief prosecutor after all. Well, what brings you here? I'll warn you, I've been known to be a real stuck-up jerk. No, did I? No. It was just Mr. Wright here, Hey, don't blame me. We're just here to investigate a murder case. Murder? A body was found in this nasty bright red sports car in the parking lot. That would be my car. What of it? What? Your car? I'll say one thing, she certainly can scream. Okie dokie. Let's take a quick examination first. I've been wondering, what the heck is this? It has a big K on it. Of prosecutors. What? What's that? It's the King of Prosecutors trophy. King of Prosecutors? It's a great honor. They send that shield to the best prosecutor each year. What? So that K, that's... K stands for King? Yeah, you got a problem with that? I didn't design the thing. King of Prosecutors. I kind of like Employee of the Month, only better. Given to Edgeworth, King of Prosecutors at the PD on the day of the murder. But it's not checked out yet, though. So that's the King of Prosecutors shield, huh? Well done, Edgeworth. You must be proud to be the King of Prosecutors. Congratulations, King of Prosecutors. Please stop saying that. That still doesn't explain one thing. Why is the tip of this shield broken off? Wow, this jacket is even lacier than his usual ones. This must be his lucky trial jacket. Lucky jacket, right? I've never seen him wear it. I'm sure there's a story behind why it's in a frame. Maybe I'll be naughty and take a picture. She's getting way too excited about this. Mr. Edgeworth has such a comfy sofa. Sofas like this make me want to curl up and take a nap. I bet he pores over his case files here until the wee hours of the morning. Then he takes off his jacket, rolls up his sleeves, and goes to sleep using his arms as a pillow. I don't believe it. She's actually daydreaming about Edgeworth working. I bet in the morning he has sofa hair and little creases in the cheek from the seams. He's so cool. Sofa hair is cool. Okay. Right. A work desk. It's quite tidy, as one might expect. What a nice desk, easy to use and easy on the eyes. It's polished so well I can see my own reflection. Strange. Why did I just picture Detective Gumshoe? Maybe I'll take that name plaque as a souvenir. Don't, he'll sue you. Okay, flowers. My, what an amazing bouquet, just right for Mr. Edgeworth. No kidding, hey, there's a card on it. Back from the dead, Wendy. Wendy? I've heard that name somewhere before. And beside it, a giant steel samurai. Wow, I want one. There's something written on the bottom of his foot. Between a rock and a hard place, Wendy. Wendy, is she Mr. Edgeworth's fiancée? I don't think so. Oh man. Whoa! What a view! It must be nice to have an office on the 12th floor. I guess you would feel important. Incidentally, were you to jump out this window, the time until impact with the ground would be... Got it! Approximately 3.23 seconds. That's handy to know. Ooh, cute! What a pretty tea set. I go more for the instant tea bags myself. Amazing, the drawer below is filled with packets of tea leaves. They're all sorted by place of origin and flavor. Look at this royal blend, what an exquisitely splendid concoction. There's such a thing as taking a hobby too far. Whoa, these are all case files. They're stacked up to the ceiling, there's even a ladder. Odd. I thought Edgeworth wasn't good with heights. He must have someone to get them from him. For him. Strange. Why did I just picture Detective Gumshoe? He must study these case reports so closely. He's so cool. You wouldn't say that if you saw him sweating bullets up on that ladder. Chessboard. Hey, a chessboard. I'm not too up on my chest, but it looks like blue's in a bit of a tight spot. The red knights have surrounded the blue pawn. Those horses are mounted knights. Their swords have really sharp edges. And check out that poor pawn. His head is kind of spiky. Kind of reminds me of you. Mr. Edgeworth must be an avid chess player. What's wrong, Mr. Wright? Edges surrounding a pawn with spiky hair. It's nothing. Ah, it's nothing. I'm sure it's nothing. Yes, it's fine. It's all fine. Okay, I think that's all I can check around in here. Cool. So, Edgeworth. So, the body was found in your car. Go ahead, say it, right? You think I did it, don't you? After you went through all that trouble to help me last year, no less. No, we don't think you did it. I mean, it was my sister who stabbed him. Wait, no, she didn't do that. I mean, wait. So you're the chief prosecutor's little sister, then? Yes, sir. Emma Skye. It's nice to meet you again. Now, that didn't sound forced at all. Ah, now I remember. You've really grown. I'll admit it was a surprise for me, too. To think that my own car would become the scene of a murder. More surprising still, I'm being forced to prove my superior's guilt. Ooh. That sounds rather unusual. For sure, Z's. I can understand. Wait, what did you say? Lana Skye is the chief prosecutor, the top prosecutor in the district. She can't prosecute herself, so I'll be the prosecutor at the trial tomorrow. You, Mr. Edgeworth? To be honest, it's a bit of a miracle I'm still here at all. What do you mean? Rumors. You've heard the rumors about me, haven't you? Miles Edgeworth. It's hard to remember a time when there weren't rumors about this guy. Forging evidence, arranging false testimony, illegal searches, you name it. Thanks to you, my innocence was established in the trial at the end of last year. However, there are some who say I'm the one responsible for the current incident. What? That's crazy. Some people need very little excuse to think ill of others. It's a fact of life, impossible to stop. But some of them even go so far as to present me with toys like this. They think it's funny. Toys? That bronze shield? There's got to be a story behind that one. Lana Skye. Chief Prosecutor Skye, yes, we first worked together on a case 2 years ago. It was my first big case. That's right, I remember. 2 years ago. I wasn't even a lawyer yet. Since then I always felt that she was looking out for me. It appears I was mistaken. Mistaken? Why? I mean, I know she's not the warmest person, but I'm sure she felt some responsibility for you. Then why? Why did she stab someone in the trunk of my car? Not only that, she stabbed him with my knife. What? What? Mr. Edgeworth, your knife was the murder weapon. To be specific, it was the knife I keep in the toolbox in the trunk of my car. The murder weapon usually in Edgeworth's toolbox, traces of victim's blood, no prints. Edgeworth? What? Are you sure you didn't do it? I mean, it's important to ask the important questions, for sure. Come on, can't you take a joke? You have a strange sense of humor, Mr. Wright. Okay, I'm gonna let's present the King of Prosecutors trophy for example. So basically, this says you were the best of the best last year, huh? You can take that foolish grin elsewhere, Wright. I lost a day of work to receive that travesty. Why is that? I had to go to the police department to receive that broken shield. The police department. Yes, right next to the police station downtown. You've been there, haven't you? Where Detective Gumshoe works, yeah. I was wondering something about your shield. Why is it broken? What does it matter? I've got more important things to worry about. Oh, right. He doesn't seem too concerned about his award for better or for worse. Yesterday was a very busy day for the prosecutor's office. Maybe we should ask him more about yesterday. Cool. Also, ask about the knife. It's against my policy to discuss evidence with the defense, especially with you. He doesn't like you much, does he, Mr. Wright? Nah, with Edgeworth it's never personal. It's all about winning tomorrow. Okie dokie, day of the crime. Could you tell me more about yesterday, the day of the murder? Yesterday was the annual cleaning day at the prosecutor's office. Cleaning day? Working with the police department, we sort and file all evidence for solved cases. We call it evidence transferal. Wiping your hands of old cases, in other words. Oh, and another thing. A ceremony was held at the police department. There's an annual review and awards for outstanding police officers and prosecutors. And that's when you got the shield. I was at the police department yesterday afternoon. I got back here at 5:12. That's very precise. People like myself and Mr. Edgeworth pride ourselves on our precision, Mr. Wright. No, I place little faith in my memory. The only thing I trust is solid evidence. Record of parking in the prosecutor's office lot entered lot at 5:12 p.m. Cool. This is the parking stub from the underground lot. The murder took place around 5:15. So the murder happened right after you got back. What, right? I'd appreciate it if you'd direct that suspicious glare elsewhere. Excuse me, but is Mr. Edgeworth anywhere on the premises? I'm Edgeworth. What is it? I'm here, sir, at the request of the chief, sir. I've got your report, sir. Report? What? Did you find new evidence in the case against Chief Prosecutor Skye? I don't like the way this conversation is going at all. Skye, sir? No, sir. No name of that kind, sir. Not in this report, sir. I think I just heard Edgeworth's lid blow. Mr. Edgeworth's lid isn't on very tight, is it? I made a clear request to the police department, did I not? I need to focus on the trial tomorrow, so don't bring me anything unrelated. Sir, but sir... I'm just following orders, sir. They told me to bring this to you. I wasn't aware of the particulars of your arrangement with... Give me your name. Yes, sir. Meekins, sir. Officer Meekins. Right. Officer Meekins. Take a report and leave. And good luck with that race next month. But sir, I didn't know. Poor guy. Looks like he was absent on the day they gave out brains and good luck. Right. Yes, sir. Gah, he caught me off guard. As you can see, I'm busy. You may leave now. Let's do what he says, Mr. Wright. The victim was a detective from the same department as that patrolman just now. Go down the police department. You can ask more there. Thanks. He seems to have finally calmed down at least. Cool. So, moving spots, I believe. Oh, right. I always forget that we might... Yeah. Something I always found odd was how you needed to, like, go into place B to go into place D, instead of going from place A into place D. Like, you don't see the option to go to the police department until you go into the underground parking lot. It always puzzled me with these games, but small details. Police department entrance. And again, the same thing was in the samurai case, especially, was the same thing. February 22nd, police department entrance. Phew, we're finally here. Why would they put the police department so far away from the prosecutor's office? Beats me, that took almost 30 minutes by taxi and traffic wasn't even that bad. The police department, huh? I've only ever been to criminal affairs next door. Hold on, what's that? Disturbing, why does it undulate like that? Oh wait, I know, this is the Blue Badger. They're trying to make him the police mascot. Wow, Mr. Wright, you sure know a lot about the police. Still, he does seem familiar somehow. Forget the Blue Badger. Who's that next to him? Someone appears to be dancing with the Blue Badger. Uh-oh, he noticed me. He sure is running over here fast. Hey, pal. What are you doing here? That's my line, Detective Gumshoe. Specifically, why were you dancing over there? What? Well, at least he doesn't seem to be busy. This is our chance to get information. Hey, I'll have you know I'm a very busy man, pal. The case. I'll give you one word of advice, pal. You'd better not agree to defend the suspect in this case. Why not? Well, it's just that the chief prosecutor has confessed to the crime. She says she summoned the detective to the prosecutor's office and she killed him. But what if she's not telling the truth? Yes, well, no. Come on, pal, there's plenty of evidence against her. But what if the evidence was faked? Hey, pal, can I speak to you for a second? Me? Why is this little girl so peeved at me? She's a relative of the suspect. She's Lana Skye's sister. Whoa. The chief prosecutor's little sister? Just please investigate this case carefully, okay? Scientifically. Yes, sir. Oh, by the way, you might want to keep your voices down. You don't want to be overheard using words like faked. Huh? It's a sensitive issue with us these days. Okie dokie. The investigation. So, what are you doing here, Detective Gumshoe? Me? Oh, well, nothing really. They kicked me out of criminal affairs. Detective Gumshoe, what did you do this time? What do you mean, this time? Well, then, what happened? I know things are busy right now. I mean, with my sister's case and all. It's true. We've never had a chief prosecutor murder anyone before. Only the highest ranked people are being let into criminal affairs now. The lowest ranking guy in there is our chief of detectives. They're not letting any of us rank and file detectives in at all. None of you? I know this is an important trial, but isn't that a little odd? So anyway, I thought I'd spend the day getting the Badger dance down pat. Isn't there anything else you could be doing? The chief of police himself is directing this investigation, pal. An Officer Marshall was assigned to the underground parking lot. Officer Marshall? Now that I think about it, Emma did seem to know that Marshall guy. A patrolman in charge of a crime scene. It's unheard of, pal. Okie dokie. Actually, I don't have Marshall's profile yet. That's interesting. Okay, Edgeworth's knife, do you want one? Found in Mr. Edgeworth's car, stabbed with Mr. Edgeworth's knife, huh? What would drive Chief Prosecutor Skye to do such a thing? Wait, I mean, sure, of course, someone else really did it. Someone who must have a grudge against Mr. Edgeworth. The car and the knife do seem a little too well organized to be a coincidence. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. What could have happened? We have to find out a little more about what's going on with Edgeworth. Hey, that's it. That's the King of Prosecutors award that Mr. Edgeworth got yesterday. Were you at the award ceremony, Detective Gumshoe? Of course, pal. I got an award for diligence myself. Ah, congratulations. I was wondering, why is the award a shield? And why is it broken? Oh, there's a reason. I'll tell you what it is later. Apparently he's forgotten. But I was proud of Mr. Edgeworth for winning that award. even with all the naysayers in the prosecutor's office. Naysayers must be because of the rumors. Yeah, fits the bill. Goodman's ID. Detective Gumshoe, what can you tell me about this? Huh? Hey pal, this is a detective's ID card. You can't just keep that, you have to turn it into the police. It's people like you that get me into so much trouble all the time. Meaning Detective Gumshoe must drop his card a lot. Let's see. Bruce Goodman. Goodman. Sounds familiar. Nah, my mistake. But didn't you work together with him in criminal affairs? Whoa, now I remember. Bruce Goodman. He's the victim. That's what I thought. Can you tell us more, Detective Gumshoe? There we go. Bruce Goodman. So this ID card belonged to the victim. He was a detective like myself. Detective Bruce Goodman. Don't you think it's strange? I mean, why would the victim's ID card be lying on the ground where we found it? Well, Detective Goodman should have been at the police department yesterday. There was an evidence transferal for a case he handled 2 years ago. Evidence transferal? Mr. Edgeworth mentioned that too. But Detective Goodman was killed at the prosecutor's office. Well, that's the thing. It's hard to say this, but word is the chief prosecutor Skye called him out there to the parking lot. And Lana's confessing as much. Edgeworth's troubles. He's in a tough spot. Again. Again. Oh, right. Well, it all started with the murder of that defense attorney Hammond. But Mr. Edgeworth was found innocent. Listen, pal, there have always been rumors about Mr. Edgeworth. Forging evidence, making deals with witnesses. Nothing outright, but there were always whispered rumors. Ever since he was accused of murder, no one's whispering, they're practically shouting. But there's no evidence against him. Well, Mr. Edgeworth has always had unusually strong ties to the department higher-ups. It's only natural that people would be suspicious. I had no idea he was under the gun. Anyway, this latest case has started a new rumor. People say the only reason he took this case is because he's aiming for the chief prosecutor's position himself. What? But I know the truth, pal. Nobody wants to be the one who has to prosecute chief prosecutor. Mr. Edgeworth is biting the bullet on this one. He's doing this for all of us. Okay. Is there... I feel like I showed everything that's... I mean, Detective, here's my attorney's badge. You show this to me every time we meet, pal. Real men show their police badge, enough said. I wish I had a badge, even an ID card would be nice. Wait. Speaking of ID cards, I found the detective's card, didn't I? I showed it to him already. Okay, so... Is Marshall now gone from the parking lot, is my question. Because that could be the case. And I'm again keeping an eye on the like the lunchbox things. Beyond that, I have no walkthrough or such going on, because that would be cheating. Or, well, I don't feel like I need one. I don't expect to, because I didn't need one when I played the first time, so... And let's see. Does she want to see the parking stub? Could you take a look at this? You, yes? You said you wanted some hot tea, right? No, but thanks. You didn't even look at me. You must have to brew the teas a long time to get rich flavor like this. We pre-infuse the leaves with steam before brewing. I knew it, so that's the secret to their aroma. Exquisite. The only thing I'm smelling here is wasted time. Okay. Okay, same stuff. Oh, I haven't actually... My bad. I should really get a good look at the... I forgot I need to look at the actual stuff and stuff. Okay, the King of Prosecutors thing. Hey, check it out. There's a metal plate here. It looks like the names of all the previous recipients are engraved on it. Wow, one guy's listed a bunch of times. Von Karma. I guess he must be a foreigner. Oh, yeah, that's probably it. Well, wherever he's from, he must have been an amazing prosecutor. I'd like to meet this Mr. Von Karma sometime. When she says it, his name does have kind of a ring to it. Yeah, I don't think you'll be seeing Von Karma, though. I have just this inkling. He might be super dead. The exact timeline is a bit off, like when, but we never see him again. Is the point after the last case, or the previous case. I don't see anything else to. Okay. Edgeworth's knife. This must be the victim's blood, right? Either that or Edgeworth's cut himself peeling an apple. What's Edgeworth doing with a knife like this anyway? Hey, maybe he spends his weekends roughing it in the wild. Edgeworth in the wild? I think my fruit peeling theory is more likely. Are you kidding? I always pictured him as an outdoorsman. Now this is a scary thought. Okay, anything else on the knife? Doesn't come to mind, no. The guy who wrote that joke fic, he also made Phoenix Wright eats a bowl of cereal. That sounds like a riveting read. Oh man. Oh boy. I wouldn't expect them to be much here, but... Miles Edgeworth, 1712. This is dated the day of the crime. The murder took place 3 minutes after Edgeworth parked his car. If only he was held up at a couple of extra red lights. He wouldn't have been caught up in this whole affair. Perhaps. It just goes to show you that you never know what'll happen when you run a yellow light. Yep, there's nothing else here. Okay, I don't think... Let's see here. Edgeworth, you wouldn't happen to have anything... Oh, he's gone. Cool. But nothing's different though, right? A work desk. Quite tidy. Yeah, the same stuff. With just not the... yeah, just lacking the sort of gumshoe reference, but beyond that it's the same stuff, and like it maybe ever so slightly different because Edgeworth's not here to do the sort of commentary on the stuff. So okay, so I can't move to the right at this point. I've examined all of the. Yep, no one here. Cool. It'll come to me. Give me a moment. I possibly just need to maybe just check the stuff here. I was wondering about that, what? The Dancing Blue Badger? It's my masterpiece. Oh, it's Gumshoe's masterpiece. You made this Detective Gumshoe. The chief threw together some designs and I just did my thing, pal. Night's work. It's battery powered, so it can go anywhere. There's no switch, so it just dances until the batteries die. Oh, goody. Poor Blue Badger, fated to dance until he drops. Ah, there we are. A work of art designed by the chief detectives and created by Detective Gumshoe. There we are. And that's all I know about that. I'm not officially on the case, you know. Thank you. Why aren't you handling the case, Detective Gumshoe? We met the guy who is, what was his name? The guy in the parking lot. That'll be Officer Marshall. He was appointed directly by the chief of police. Officer Marshall, is he some kind of Wild West sheriff or something? Nah, Jake Marshall's just a regular officer from West LA. For a moment there I wasn't sure. Look, pal, let me try to make things a little easier for you. Show them this and they'll let you examine the crime scene, maybe. Letter of introduction, received from Detective Gumshoe, allows bearer to investigate the crime scene. What's the crossed out part there? Let's check. I'll be surprised if this gets us anywhere. Just act like you're supposed to be there and nobody will look at you twice, pal. Quick, just check it before I forget to do this. Hey, look here. It looks like something's been crossed out. Maybe it was a letter or something to Detective Gumshoe. Let's see. Annual bonus 20. I think a couple of zeros are missing. No, that sounds about right, at least in that detective's case. Maybe I should rethink my career as an investigator. Well, you know, it's the pay cuts with Edgeworth, you know how or from Edgeworth, you know how it goes. I think this just shows, yeah, his picture. It's like not with me as such. Cool. Okay, then we go to the year. February 22nd, Prosecutor's Office, underground parking lot. Looks like the investigation is still going. I have to be getting back to the shop. Sorry, looks like I'll be stuck in this pit till the sun sleeps. I'll see you in my dreams tonight then, baby. Oh, still here? Hello. Why the surprised looks, didn't I mention? I've got a boyfriend in criminal affairs too. What? What happened to the security guard? Hey, what's wrong, Bambina? You're looking like a doggy that's lost its herd. Jake Marshall. Strange guy to be put in charge of a crime scene. Okie dokie, let's have a talk about the victim. There's something I wanted to ask you. Scene of the crime, a cold grave for men who've lost their dreams. And me, I'd watch over them as they sleep, dreaming of the desert's harsh judgment. He's asleep. Well, should we show this hopeless case something to catch his interest? Maybe, yeah. Hi, would you mind reading this for me? What's this? I warn you, fan letters to me go right into the spittoon. It's a letter of introduction from Detective Gumshoe. May we investigate? Gumshoe? Ah, that old cowdog. He holding a birthday party or something? Look where it should say letter of introduction, it says invitation. Ah. I think he just miswrote it. Wait, why am I getting all defensive here? No worries, this proves it's from Detective Gumshoe better than the blood test. That's true. Guess I'd better let you in then. Thank you, Officer Marshall. Oh, that's right, he's a patrolman, not a detective. Which reminds me. Hey, wait a second. Isn't a crime scene supposed to be handled by a detective or higher? Well, folks. The clues are calling. Welcome to our gold strike. Be like the settler. Strike out for lands unknown. Manifest destiny. Let's have a hootenanny. Yes. Note to self, police investigations are like settling land. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? I say I won't be needing this anymore. Gumshoe letter of introduction crumpled and discarded. Ah. Okay, talk again about the victim. Officer Marshall, could you tell us more about the victim? Good men always die young, remember that, partner. Could you be a little more specific? Bruce Goodman, he was a detective, right? Well, aren't you a feisty doggy there now? Detective Goodman was stabbed here at 5:15. The smiling Madonna told me the tale. I think he means the witness, Miss Angel Starr. Sounds about right, yeah. One stab to the chest. A fine piece of work. This here's the autopsy report. Death due to loss of blood, one knife wound, died within an hour and a half of 4 p.m. Right. So window is 4 p.m. to 5:30. Was my sister involved with the victim in any way? Funny you should mention that, Bambina. Chief Prospector Skye and Detective Goodman had nothing in common at all. Nothing in common? They apparently worked together on a case a few years back. So there's no motive. Goodman wasn't a particularly gifted detective. That's one reason why he didn't do much work with the Chief Prospector. But my sister called the victim here on the day of the murder, right? Here, to this parking lot. So it seems like calling an unarmed man to a shootout at high noon. Oh goody! Marshal, I don't mean any offense, but Officer Marshal, you're a patrolman, right? Not a detective. You calling me out? They shoot you for that in Texas. Huh? I was one of them fancy shoot detectives till 2 years ago, to tell you the truth. Oh really? Now he tells me. But you're a patrolman now, so how can you be in charge of a crime scene? Nothing gets by you, does it, Bambina? So why are you in charge? No reason. We're just short on hands right now. I'm keeping an eye out in the meantime. That's odd, though. Gumshoe was saying he had nothing to do, nothing important at least. He's nothing but a sad old cowdog that can't find his tail. Maybe it's because he runs with that Edgeworth, huh? Edgeworth. That cowdog's been kicked out of this cattle run by order of the Chief of Police. Just he don't realize it yet. Detective Gumshoe kicked out of the investigation. Interesting. Okay, let's check the stuff first before we do anything else here. So, this looks like a cell phone. Scientific analysis would suggest this belonged to the victim. I can't think of anyone else it could belong to. What's so scientific about that? Should we check it out? Sure. Right, let's check it out. Let's look at a phone. Woo! Okay, man, what a boring strap. What's wrong with it? Everyone has different tastes, you know. Here, check out mine. It's a pink princess strap. Well, of course it is. These are hard to come by, you know. It seems I see the series is as popular as ever with the kids. Okay, can I, like, open the... There you go. This phone's still on the redial screen. Redial? Mr. Wright? Most phones keep a record of all the calls you've made and received. You just press the blue button to display the last number you called. Convenient, isn't it? I'm surprised you didn't know about it. Sorry to disappoint you, but even I know about things like redial. Oh, I'm sorry. It's just, you never know with people from your generation. Whatever, let's check this phone out. I mean, Phoenix is what, 28 in this? I need to check again. Now, to see who the owner of this phone called last. Note to self, a defense attorney doesn't think first, he just pushes the button. Look, buttons are meant to be pushed, Emma. It's fine. It's fine. Beep. Hey, that song, I know that. Hey, what's going on over here? Beep. Oh, sorry. I see you, partner. You pressed redial on that there phone, didn't you? Well, yeah. Whose phone is this anyway? It was on the ground over there. Whose is it? That belongs to Chief Prospector Skye. What? It's my sister's? She apparently dropped it when she was taken into custody right after the crime. Look, the last call was made right when the murder occurred. Looks like she was fixing to call someone. Except she only spoke for a few seconds, according to this. Who did she call? No idea. Sorry, partner. Now I got a question for you, partner. I heard a phone ring just now, one of those newfangled ringtones. Oh, that. Ah. I'm sorry, that was my phone. What? Your phone? Yeah, it's kind of strange, but someone called me right as we picked up the other phone, a wrong number. I hope you're not lying. They shoot you for that in Texas, partner. Uh-oh, I've incited the wrath of the Lone Star Patrolman. Property of Lana Skye last call made at 5:18 on the day of the murder. Yeah, but doesn't that mean that he... Anyway. So, this rope, is it... yep, they laid it in the outline of the victim's body. So, wait. The victim must have died when the killer closed the trunk on him. You have got to be the only person I know that would come to that conclusion. The car itself is, this appears to be the car where the body was found. It looks like the lock on the trunk is busted. The crime took place in the underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. Yeah. The body was found in the trunk of my subordinate's car. Quite a luxury car. It just screams I have money to burn. Yeah, prosecutors get the big bucks. Okie dokie. B block is through there. That's where visitors park. I can see the Lunchland car over there, far in the distance. Hey, you're right. I like the cute design on the door. I can see a cartoon cow munching down on a juicy-looking steak. Doesn't that strike you as a little creepy? Just don't think too deeply about it and you'll be fine. Okay, and then block A. A block. This area is reserved for prosecutors. Defense attorneys are relegated to B block. I dream of the day when I will be able to park my car here. I'll go over to B block to buy my hamburgers from you, Mr. Wright. When you become a prosecutor, and that's when the big bucks start rolling in. Yeah, apparently so, yeah. Where the running joke with Phoenix is basically that he's always kind of short for cash, but he still always ends up like paying for the like lunches of everyone in the end and then whatever. at the end moments. I'm not planning on giving up my job that soon. Okay, is there anything else I should... What's that? An oil drum. Looks like it's filled with water. It's heavy, I can't even budge it. The drum over here is on its side. Wait, I know. I'll hide in here and do a stakeout. I think you'll probably just get arrested. In fact, you may not even have to hide in the drum to get arrested. What? I'm not suspicious. Okay, cool, I think... That. What's this? Looks like a note of some sort. Look, something's written on it. You're right, let's see, it's 6 to 7S, or 6-7S, 12, you know, divided by 12. Well, slash 12. There's a name printed on the paper above that, Goodman. Maybe it fell out of his pocket when he was killed. Well, so what does it mean, Mr. Wright? How am I supposed to know? Note to self, for deductive reasoning, go to Edgeworth, not Wright. I'm sure Edgeworth wouldn't know what it means either. Victim's memo found in the car trunk. Can I just check everything, right? Cool, can't, like, do stuff with it. Okay, Bruce Goodman, 36 male, February 21st, between 4 and 5:30. Cause of death, loss of blood from chest wound. Assessment. Wound was caused by a 4.5-inch knife. A single stab wound was found. Oh man, it does sound like you are having quite the time with the Apollo Trucy stuff for sure. Oh man, okie dokie. Let's. So about. Hi. All right, compadre, count to 3. Huh? You gotta do that if you're going to draw evidence on someone. That's what we do in Texas. Remind me never to visit Texas. Just to check that there's, like... Do you make any notes on any other stuff? Oh, nope, not A. The other one. A toy shield. Suits the boy well. What exactly could you shield with that? A toy knight, maybe? Officer Marshall, don't you have anything good to say about Mr. Edgeworth? You don't like him, right? We get the point. You know, when I was a detective, I got one of these. Let me guess. Did it have a K for King of Detectives on it? Hey, they could use the same shield over and over. Note to self, the Prosecutor's Office and Criminal Affairs are surprisingly cheap. You know it, they've gotten cheaper with every passing year, I tell you. Okay, what's that? Some sort of police passport? This is Detective Goodman's ID card. Strangely enough, we found it in a good distance away from the crime scene. Good distance in this rat hole. If you want distance, then get yourself to Texas. Texas? This is a tiny little crime scene in a tiny little town with tiny little evidence. What difference does a few yards make, compadre? Note to self, if you encounter suspicious evidence, think of Texas. Emma, I don't think that's useful. I have this inkling. And here we go. There's no better way to study than to hang out with the pros. 5:12 p.m. The parking stub. The prospector's bright red steed came in at the trot, real slow-like. A trot. My Madonna tells me the crime occurred 3 minutes later, so it seems the chief prosecutor was lying in wait. Maybe waiting for her prince to ride in on his bright red horse? So what you mean is, the killer intended to use Edgeworth's car all along. Possibly. Do you want to talk about the badger? Nah. Okie dokie. What about the autopsy report? Nope. Cool. I tried the notes, cell phone. Hi. My sister's cell phone. The last time it was used was 5:18, right after Goodman was killed. Maybe she was cancelling her date for the night. Why did Lana make that call? I don't know. I think that's all of them. The badge shouldn't make a difference, but yeah. We have a Lana Skye option. You are known as Horny Apollo on Reddit anyways. That sounds like quite the moniker. Just as a what you've been talking about is fine, but let's I try to I discourage graphical sex talk while doing this, but that's so far has been fine. But yeah, just keeping in mind, just to mention in advance, how it goes. I've sometimes had like really creepy people just like come in, just like go in places. I'm like, this is not. So I always you know. So there's no connection between Detective Goodman and my sister. That's correct, but there's a goldmine of evidence against her. And the prosecutor tomorrow is none other than Edgeworth himself. I'm afraid your sister's fate is decided, Bambina. Many condolences. Officer Marshall. Yeah, Bambina. How can you say that? You and my sister, you were... Is there something between this cop and her sister that I don't know about? Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like if one tries to really quantify like the exact specifics of what kind of like, you know, vaguely sex talk is fine and what isn't, it gets really difficult to like quantify like in a vacuum. But when you see someone be creepy, you just know. You know, it's just like, oh, and you just need to immediately let to jump on it and clamp down on it. Like, nope, that. So it's kind of like you know how it goes. I like when I played The Witcher 3, I had surprisingly large amounts of just like random trolls coming in, going on like, "Hey, drop everything and let's go fuck prostitutes," and I'm like, no, banned. It's like Jesus Christ, man! Like just playing video games for a good time, man. Just man, it was really like, huh. But yeah, but so far it's been all good. Don't worry about it. But like, you know, some people know how to not be creepy. Some people don't know how to not be creepy. It just is. It's just like, man, like Jesus Christ. Cool. I apologize, Bambina. Something must have gotten to me. Maybe it's just that dry wind that's blowing through the prospector's office. Dry wind or ill will. Someone's up to something here, but who? Yeah, no worries. No worries. Office atmosphere. Suspicions about Mr. Edgeworth have been flying around for nearly 2 years now. Forged evidence and arranging testimonies, you mean? He was unbeatable because he did whatever it took to win. Unbeatable, that is, until he met you. Go, Phoenix team! But rumors are just rumors, aren't they? These are just prosecutors we're talking about. Evidence is everything to them. If you follow the rumors about Edgeworth to their source, you find one person. But they're off limits. Untouchable, you might say. One person? Who? Hate to say this, but it's your sister, Bambina. Chief Prospector Lana Skye. What? My sister? Edgeworth couldn't rustle all those cattle by himself. Some people load their guns with bullets, some people load them with deals. What you're saying... What? You're saying Edgeworth was making deals to win trials? Where there's gunshots, there's bound to be bullets. That's what the old-timers say. There's a big old secret hidden around here somewhere. Everyone knows it. Is that why Detective Gumshoe was taken off the case? Did they target him because he was closest to Edgeworth? Or she, but... no, whatever. So, well, how are we doing, Mr. Wright? I guess we've got some clues. We have an autopsy report, a note from the victim, and a cell phone. So you think we'll be okay? Well, the only thing still bothering me is that Lana is confessing to the crime. She says she did it. No problem. I can guarantee that she's not the criminal. Oh, goody. Oh, by the way, Emma? Yeah? I know that song your phone plays when it rings. What? It's the Steel Samurai theme song, isn't it? That popular TV show for kids. The phone that rang earlier wasn't mine, it was yours. At 5:18, just after the murder took place, your sister called you, didn't she, Emma? I'm sorry. Can you tell me what you talked about? She hung up right away. I see. Cell phone updated. Called her sister at 5:18 on the day of the murder, yeah. Slowly making progress. A detective is murdered, and the suspect is the top prosecutor in the district. I've got a bad feeling about this. Like, maybe I still don't know everything that went on here. To be continued. I'm still obviously continuing. We're just getting started, but I'm probably not gonna sit through the entire thing in one sitting. I'll like continue tomorrow or whatever, but still I'm gonna do at least this courtroom and possibly the next investigation too. Like, we'll see how long things take, basically. Like, my plan is to go for maybe 1 or 2 hours still, depending on you know. Save progress though, yeah. That's probably the one I'm using anyway, yeah. February 23rd, 9:34 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby Number 2. Got popular on the subreddit that people are joining in on being horny. Ah. Well, I mean, again, as long as people are having a good time, that's, you know, there's no, there we go, I suppose. Okay, again, I'm checking just to be sure. Witness account present, the crime photo. Okay, cool. How did the investigation go yesterday, Mr. Wright? Man, I love the music in this. Like, just as a quick, like, side note. Like, when I first started, obviously the first game, right, on the 3DS, I had no idea of, like, I just knew people liked Ace Attorney, right? So I like went in and I was really like trying to imagine what would be like a Capcom video game music for a courtroom. So it would like combine the serious feeling of a courtroom, but still just lightweight enough to be a video game at the same time. And this really exemplifies that. This is a really good theme for that. At least in my opinion. So you got horny Trucy and Clavier since then. Ah, understood. How did the investigation go yesterday, Mr. Wright? Frankly, there are still a lot of gray areas. Or rather, the whole thing is one big gray area. Don't worry about me, no matter what the outcome. I'm ready to accept my fate. I believe in you, sis. Mr. Wright, let me offer you a word of advice. Yeah? A defense attorney should never believe their client. The defendant is called to trial because they are suspected of wrongdoing. Never forget that. Miss Skye, you remind me a lot of Mia, but there is one decisive difference between you and her. And that is, you're not a defense attorney. I believe it's almost time for the trial. Good luck, Mr. Wright. Good luck is right, but we will persevere. We will get to the bottom of this eventually. My first trial without a Fae helping me. No one's going to bail me out this time. That's true. I'll be alone in there, so I have to discover the truth all by myself. Let's do it, Mr. Wright. I'll be with you the whole way. February 23rd, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 9. They go up to 9, do they? Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Edgeworth. It's been 2 months, but I haven't been in a courtroom since his trial. I hope that personal feelings will not be a part of the proceedings today, Mr. Wright. I will choose the path I think is right, regardless of what those around me might say. The judgment to be made here is in our hands, not those of anyone else. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye has committed an unpardonable crime. Not only this, but she was rash enough to commit it in the prosecutor's office lot. Wow, he's much more forceful in person. I suddenly feel like confessing to everything. However, she will now pay for her rashness with her life. There was a witness to her crime. A professional witness. Well then, call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls its first witness, Miss Angel Starr, to the stand. The cough-up queen. Haven't I seen you somewhere? You ordered the caviar lunch, right? Ho ho, caviar! I've never eaten caviar before. The judge is really wolfing it down. Ah, and for you, I have a fiesta bowl. Thanks. Will the witness state her name and profession? Ah, and you, sir. Did you order the fingerprint lunchbox? It is too early for lunch. Your name and profession, please. Well, Your Honor, how does it taste? So this is why everyone raves about caviar. It's so tasty it hurts. I always thought caviar would taste like pickled tapioca. What the heck does pickled tapioca taste like? Name, profession, now. Me? The name is Angel Starr. Don't go forgetting it. I find myself running Lunchland these days. Is that what you wanted me to say, Mr. Edgeworth? Very well, witness. Please describe the incident to us. The prosecution will wait. I'm not finished eating. Hurry it up. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. As you know, we usually call on the police to provide a description of the crime. Your Honor, as Mr. Edgeworth has said to the court, I am a professional. What exactly does that mean? Until 2 years ago, Miss Angel Starr was a special investigator with the police. She was a first-rate homicide detective. What? Miss Starr was a detective? Aha! I know who you are. Cough up Queen Angel Starr, Your Honor. Long time no see. Very well. You may continue with the description, Miss Starr. Just who is this lady? If I might have the court's attention over here. The parking lot at the prosecutor's office is divided into 2 blocks. A block is for the prosecutor's office personnel. B block is for visitors and clients. A chain divider separates the 2 blocks. I suppose that's to keep visitors from taking up prosecutor's space, yeah? The crime took place by a car in the back of A block. In the car's trunk, the killer stabbed the victim with this knife and went to drive the body out. Unfortunately for her, there was a witness and an arrest was made on the spot. And who was this valiant witness? Why, it was me, Your Honor. The parking lot with Edgeworth's car. Cool. Witness, did you see the very moment of the crime? Of course, Your Honor. Immediately after that, I apprehended the chief prosecutor. It seems rather cut and dry, doesn't it? Well, Mr. Wright, I can't agree on principle, Your Honor. It seems that some poor losers are unwilling to accept the truth, Your Honor. Shall I proceed to crush what little hope they have remaining? If you can, then give them your worst, Mr. Starr. Miss Starr. Wait, are they talking about me? I think yes, but that's fine. We'll win in the end. Maybe, I hope. Somehow I always knew a day like this would come. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend when I sensed something. Perhaps it was my finely honed detective's intuition at work. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garish car. The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest. Bringing a lunchbox to your boyfriend, how touching. As you can see, there is no room for doubt. The key point of your testimony seems to be nothing other than the point of the knife which you saw being stabbed into Detective Goodman. So, how does it feel to be so utterly crushed? I am still thinking about that. It's merely a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness. Okie dokie. So again, quick check to say I need for the specific food item. I need to present crime photo into that. Always make a save at save at these you know, just in case, because things might go bad. So let's see. Right, but I don't yet have the item to do that, so I need to first start pressing. So I need to add, because that didn't sound right. Well, I'd say the blade was about 4 inches long. Is that right, Mr. Edgeworth? It is your knife, after all. Yes, that's about right. Prosecutors are, by nature, well versed in the location of a man's vital organs. I'm sure it was easier than boiling an egg for my egg salad surprise set. You can't testify as to her ability to kill an egg, I mean a person. Perhaps a chicken salad set would have been a better metaphor. So the defendant was holding a knife, what then? Then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest. I'm just keeping them like in my mind the things, because I don't remember the specifics on like how to do stuff, but it's fine because I like to sort of like unravel this stuff again. Tell the court why you didn't try to stop this crime. You did see her raise the knife to strike, no? The defense has a point. Unfortunately, by the time I realized what was going on, it was already too late. Too late? Yes. The next moment, the chief prosecutor brought down the murder weapon. I see. It's only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We can make it. You said that before. Anything else? Scientifically speaking, Miss Starr's testimony is flawless. Sounds pretty fatal to me. What do we do? Is this it? Is my sister guilty? Let's just keep our heads cool and press the witness a bit, shall we? Yes. For some reason, having her panicking next to me makes me calmer. Don't smile like that. I will try to avoid that. I'm trying to find a good balance for the sound effect amounts, because it was like the 2 was fine, but you know it's How did you know? I respect the prosecutor's basic abhorrence of crime. Yet their methods are ugly and twisted. Twisted methods will always lead to tragedy. The lunch lady's uninformed opinion is duly noted. Given that they are used to erasing inconvenient evidence at their whim, Killing off a detective that knew too much is merely an extension of that. Miss Starr, do you have something personal against prosecutors? I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator, and if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors over there, I'd still be one. Laid off. She was fired. The sound effect thing is too sharp to me when it's number 3 there, so I'll keep it at 2. That's the, like, default one anyway, I'm almost sure. To me, prosecutors are nothing more than worms. That said, I'm a pro, as you know. My testimony is unbiased and flawless. Very well, you may continue, Miss Starr. On my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend... Hold it! This boyfriend, he's the detective. Not that boyfriend, the security guard. That boyfriend, you have several? Yes, this boyfriend, that boyfriend, and the other boyfriend. Care to join? The yet another boyfriend position is still open for applicants. I'll stick with lunches, thanks. Note to self, the judge had to think before replying. The security guard room is in the lot, in A block. It's up on the 2nd level, so you can see everything from there. That would be the room with the security sign. Yeah. Incidentally, did you bring your lunchboxes by car? Since I'm a visitor now, I parked in B block. So she was in B block when she witnessed the crime. When I sensed something, perhaps it was my finely honed detective intuition at work. Hold it! You sensed something, so you're saying you had a premonition of the murder. It felt like... how would you say? Oh yeah. It was like the feeling you get when you view a pumpkin, chock full of seeds. I have no idea what that means. Speaking of a detective's intuition, wasn't the victim, Mr. Bruce Goodman, also a detective? Yes, well, he was like a young cheese. A young cheese? A pale white cheese, not yet tangy with experience on the streets. A greenhorn. Then I must be hard, yellowed, and sharp as a tack. Yeah, with the odor of a man, of an old cheese to match. In any case, there in the lot, I felt something stirring in the back of my mind. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garish car. Oh, right, yeah. This is the one I haven't pressed yet. Hold it! By garish car, you mean Mr. Edgeworth's car, yeah. Mr. Edgeworth's? Incidentally, the knife with which the victim was stabbed was also Mr. Edgeworth's, wasn't it? Indeed it was. What an odd case this is, and the person you saw, you are sure it was the defendant. I saw her from no further than 30 feet away. I am certain it was her. If she's telling the truth, we're doomed. Let's just do what we can, even if we don't have any proof, we can always nitpick. Witness, in your testimony you clearly stated the following. Prosecutors are nothing more than worms, ergo, you are a biased witness. You might want to keep those silly opinions to yourself in the future, rookie. Rookie? Unless you're willing to risk the consequences of doubting me. I'll fry you like a fritter, crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside. That was inspiring. I believe I've heard that tagline elsewhere. You could try plagiarism? I may be relegated to the lowly post of a lunch lady, but my instincts are honed. A photograph! You took this? The moment I witnessed the crime, my reflexes took over and snap, I took a picture. In fact, one of my lunch boxes is rigged with a camera. I suppose that's more exciting than just hanging it around your neck. Witness, why am I just seeing this photograph just now? You think I'd show it to you, a prosecutor? Think again. My boyfriend works in the photography division of criminal affairs. Well, this is most certainly the defendant. Crime photo added to the court record. Moment of the crime as photographed by Angel Star. Uh-oh, that is unmistakably Lana Skye. So, what was the defendant doing at the time? Actually, an interesting notion, if I may. Can I like just... If I can just check the court record or something. Oops, sorry. Wrong button. Give us a moment. I'm actually forgetting some of the buttons here, but basically I was just wondering about the picture there, but well, get to it. Finally honed the detective's instinct. Right. Right hand, right? So yeah. So, an interesting notion that I'm now playing this like in the big screen and all. It's actually an interesting thing because in the 3DS, the screen was small enough that I couldn't make out like the tiny parts of the facial expression in that. So I'm sort of getting a tiny bit of new insight in the evidence because it's on the big screen here, like a big TV. So. Interesting, but apparently that... I'll save the game again to be sure. But according to the achievement thing, that should result in a lunchbox thing. The reasoning being, I would imagine, is there's no prints on the knife. But in the photo, there, Never mind. But I mean, according to the, maybe it's the wrong option, but the achievement thing is saying to do this, so. Objection! And you witnessed this. You saw Miss Skye stab the victim with the knife. As I've already said, yes. I swear it on my finest salmon swirl. Yeah, that's the one. So it's basically actually unmissable, but some of them are missable though. I'm sure that's a fine lunch. But isn't that odd? Look at this photograph. This is the photograph you took of the very moment of the crime, is it not? Then why is Miss Skye not holding a knife? That's it. Yeah, true. Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts. Objection. That had to be the weakest objection ever, Edgeworth. Yet it was still stronger than your ever-feeble mind, Mr. Wright. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photograph was not taken the moment before the stabbing. This was taken the moment after the stabbing. Objection! And how can you tell that? Blood splatter, yeah. See the dark crimson stains on the chief prosecutor's coat? But it's black and white photograph. Ah, yes, it's hard to tell, but this could be blood. Well, Mr. Wright, I see no problem here. No problem except you. Mr. Wright, are you going to just sit there and take that kind of abuse? Ah, you got a better idea? Okay, what's the next one I need to... After this role, you're asked whether to raise an objection. You need to object to advance the story, but choose no problem instead to unlock this lunchbox. Yeah, so that's a missable one. So if I choose to make an objection here, I'll miss a lunchbox, and then we need to start the whole thing all over again. And now that you mention it, I see no problem here, other than myself. Mr. Wright, you can't just let him walk all over you. That's just sad. Feeling sad, Mr. Wright? Perhaps a bittersweet first love lunchbox is in order. Well, that was a waste of time. Let's continue with the testimony. Perhaps I should have dug a little deeper. Yes, you should, but I needed the lunchbox first. That's an important part of the whole thing. So same thing, but the... yeah. Again, being... okay, cool. So... do that. Objection! And same thing. Again, just skipping through the stuff we've read already. And moving. And there, objection. Wait, that contradicts what the witness said in her testimony. Namely that she took the picture the moment she witnessed the crime. Well, it seems I was slightly unclear. My apologies. That's it. If you run out of lunch, you order seconds. Problem solved. If you don't like it, try ordering the jumbo-sized lunch from the get-go. Good advice. I'm not sure I understood it, but good advice. I didn't have time to stop her. Prosecutor Skye was cold, calculating like a robot. She killed without pain or remorse. It was a premeditated murder. Objection! Premeditated. How do you know? Look at the Chief Prosecutor's hands in that photograph. Well, are those gloves? Anyone could wear gloves. Surgical gloves made of thin rubber, most likely. Why would she have those on? Well, maybe she was just being careful not to be clean. If it was not premeditated, then she would not be wearing those gloves. Ah! These gloves do seem to tell a tale of premeditation. Premeditated murder, a serious offense. Witness, add this to your testimony. The murder was planned, rubber gloves prove it. Let's press first. Hold it. What if she was just in the habit of wearing gloves, like driving gloves? Objection! The gloves were admitted as evidence when the defendant was arrested. They were rubber gloves of the kind used for autopsies. In other words, when the Chief Prosecutor came to the crime scene, she came to do murder. It's the only possible conclusion one can make. Everything was planned. It was a premeditated crime. Ah! Impressive. I'm sorry they took you off the force, Miss Starr. This is bad. She's got them thinking this was all planned. If she can prove this claim, the trial's already over. Got to think of a way to show that this wasn't premeditated. It's only a flesh wound, Miss Wright. Yeah, and then the end result again. Yeah. We've met, seen this. Okay, so that means I have to think of... fuck. Went a bit too far. Give me a second chance here. There. Okay, what proves the murder wasn't planned? The knife, because she couldn't have known that the knife was in the car. Surely. I'll make a save first, but that's what I'm thinking. Again, I don't remember the exact answers, and that's good, because I like to think this through all over again. Objection! Witness, do you know what this is? Are you trying to test me? I sell box lunches for a living, you know. That's a knife. The knife. The knife that was in Mr. Edgeworth's trunk. Indeed, it is my knife. What's with this case? The bloody murder weapon, a red car, all belonging to the prosecutor there. The defendant is the chief prosecutor for the district, right? Mommy, are prosecutors bad people? The defense has a request. We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony. What's that, Rookie? In your testimony, you stated that Lana Skye planned this murder, and that's why she was wearing those special gloves. Seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves do indicate planning. However, why would she not also prepare the most important thing, the murder weapon? Haha! Oh. This knife just happened to be in the trunk of that car. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to plan a murder, you don't forget the weapon. Ah! We got her! We made progress! Order, order, order. Great. Now the tide is turning in our favor. Great show, Mr. Wright. My sister's as good as free. I'm wondering what's the item on the bottom there below the text box. Give me a... There's a... I just want to check, right? Oh, it's like the lower part of her notebook. I was like wondering what's the like part sticking out from the bottom of the text box. Now I know. But yeah, I'd rather have it not transparent because it's just easier on the eyes. Cool. Right. I believe the next lunch you'll be eating is humble pie. What? I hope you weren't deluding yourself into thinking that the tide has turned. Not over such a trifling detail. But this shoots a hole in the whole premeditated theory. Bah. The prosecution could care less if it was premeditated or not. The only one who seems to care is that lunch lady over there. The defendant, Lana Skye, murdered a detective with a knife. That is the only thing the prosecution need prove, nothing else. Very good, Mr. Prosecutor. I suppose you think you're clever now. But you know as well as I do that she planned on killing him. It was planned. If it wasn't, why would she have been wearing... I believe I'd like to hear your testimony again. Witness, please tell us only what you saw, not what you thought. How dare you! My powers of deduction are not to be underestimated. Really now. Angel's deduction witness testimony. Here we go. Lana Skye intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again. The victim was summoned from the police department to the prosecutor's office. It does sound a lot like premeditation, doesn't it? So if I ordered a pizza, does that mean I'm planning to kill the delivery boy? In any case, the defense may now cross-examine the witness. Here we go. Lana Skye intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing could have driven the human machine to plunge the knife in again and again. So I need to again be ready here. Okay, and here I should, again, I'm not reading a walkthrough, I'm reading a specific guide only for one achievement so I don't miss the lunches. That's a different thing. Sometimes they happen to coincide with presenting evidence specifically to her, because she's the lunch lady. That's what I'm like looking at here. Because that achievement has missable things, and I don't want to miss them, because that would mean going through the whole thing all over again on my own, and that's a... I like this case, but it's really, really long. It's really long. So... okay, so... Oh, again and again, but only one knife wound. True. Exactly. Objection! You say she stabbed him again and again, but you couldn't have witnessed that. Are you testing me? Then I'll test you. With my moss surprise. That's the one. I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Miss Star. Hmm? What do you mean? I shouldn't have to explain this, but take a look. The autopsy report states that death was due to a loss of blood from one stab wound. Aha! You're right. Good show, Mr. Edgeworth. What a hunk. He's my hero, really. He's on the opposite side, Emma. Stay focused. What about my objection? No one noticed. Well, witness? You got the crime scene set, right? Oh, thanks. I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood. But now I realize that such mistakes are possible. So, you're saying you mistook something for blood. When she lifted her knife, I thought I saw blood at her breast. Splattered blood from her victim. That's why I thought she must have stabbed him at least twice. Then tell us what you saw that you thought was blood. Testify. God, there's many lunches, Jesus Christ. Her red muffler looked like blood to me. That's how ghastly the whole scene was. Okay, just again checking that I don't miss the next one. Okay, one person says, oh yes, when I asked her muffler, she was asked muffler. This to add new testimony, she gave it from those to fall on the wall and just use her cell phone, press on this, and then present the parking lot floor plans to contradict her. After this, you'll be asked to explain what Angel found out, choose what she saw, and what is good. Wow, interesting. It's actually, I just checked, yeah. In order to get all the lunch boxes, one of your cross-examination answers later on needs to be the wrong one, and you need to get penalized, and then you get the lunchbox thing. It's that specific. Jesus Christ. Okay, red muffler looked like blood. Wait. Interesting enough, just as a side note, right? The first time I played this game, again, it was at this point it was like a year and 4-ish months ago, 3-4 months ago, a year and 3 or 4 months. When she says that's how her red muffler looked like blood to me, English is is not my native language. So I saw like muffler and like something that muffles the sound somewhere. I'm like, because I knew she had a scarf or something, but like muffler, I had never heard the word muffler to be used as like a scarf-like thing. So I was like, wait, she had a red thing that reduced sound or something. I'm like, what? So I was very confused by that statement, but luckily when I played this, because I had at this point learned that when the witnesses say something specific about the scene or crime or person, the correct answer tends to be whatever evidence shows that person or that scene, which has to be the crime photo. So I guessed right, even though I didn't know what the hell they meant by muffler. Objection! Miss Star, I demand an explanation. Objection! The witness is clearly not suited for detective work. What? The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler of any kind when she stabbed the victim. And you've proved it yourself with this photograph. Huh? But that can't be! Only a professional lunch lady could be so utterly clueless. Congratulations, perhaps you finally found your true calling in life. That's cold, man. Harsh words, but good. In the end, Mr. Edgeworth prevails. What about me? What was my objection, chopped liver? But it was there, a scarf. No, not that, but something red, really. Well now, where were we? The witness has given us an entertaining interlude, but back to business. What? Very well, witness. Continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that. Very well. I do remember some things accurately, at least. Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of her testimony. The most important part, the part where your sister stabs the victim. This next testimony might just be the moment of truth. Apprehending the suspect. Okie dokie. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to her side. I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Ah yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Star, resistance is futile. Cool. You are quite determined about the scarf, aren't you? I strike like a snake and bite like a cobra. That's me, Angel Star. That wasn't a very good metaphor. First of all, a cobra is kind of a snake. Don't bother me with details unless you want to get bitten. No thanks. Note to self, Mr. Wright is weak against poisonous snake bites. As opposed to, like, who? The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hand aside, kicked over an oil drum. An oil drum? Hard to imagine. Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Rawr! Very well, Mr. Wright. Your cross-examination, if you will. Cool. So, in this statement, I have to check the thing with the... So I need to... Give us a moment. I need to press here. Hold it! She mentioned the muffler. What exactly did she say? If I remembered exactly, I would have told you in my testimony. Cheeky. Anyway, all I heard her say was the word muffler. Just that one word. So what you heard wasn't the suspect talking to you, but to someone else. Yes, the chief prosecutor was talking on her phone. Her phone? She can't mean... I do need to ask further, though, I believe, to get the lunchbox. I need the lunchbox. It's important, I promise. Yeah, ask further. By phone, do you mean this cell phone discovered at the crime scene? Yes, ultimately. Ultimately. My memory... It's like a salmon, heading upstream, you see. No, the court doesn't see, Miss Starr. The chief prosecutor first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall. On the wall? That's right. Near the car, there was an emergency phone on the wall. True. Apparently it was out of order. And so she used her cell phone. Indeed, the emergency phone was out of order that day. Good witnessing, witness. Good witnessing. Whatever happened to good testifying? You should, of course, add this to your testimony. The things I do to please this rookie defense attorney. The word muffler was overheard during a call made to Emma at 518. Cool. I saw it all how she tried the phone on the wall but had to use her cell instead. Right. And... The quote on the guide is a little off, but I think it means this one. I'm just gonna, again, make a quick save to be sure. Right, the floor plans is to be here. Again, not a walkthrough, just that one guide to get the lunchboxes. It's important. Again, for the reason probably that the cell phone was found on the other side of the sort of wall there, as opposed to where the phone on the wall is. So it wouldn't make sense to have them. Yeah, that's the reasoning. Or not. Sorry. Apparently I have now outsmarted myself. Hold it. Do you think you could restate your testimony for the court? Aha! I was going to ask the same thing. I'll only say this one time to listen close, rookies. The chief prosecutor stabbed the victim and ran behind the partition. Like, it is actually, sometimes it is a little bit of a thing where you may feel like you have a contradiction, but the game isn't yet ready to give you the sort of reward for that contradiction because you've sort of like outsmarted what the game is telling you. But it sometimes happens, but luckily not too often. But it does sometimes happen for sure. Then she picked up the emergency phone on the wall, but it was out of order. So she pulled her own cell phone out of her pocket. And during that time, you climbed over the chain link fence. And when I boldly grabbed her arm, the chief prosecutor hung up her phone. And you saw her doing this. What is it, Mr. Wright? Made to escape but against the agent's purposes. Again. But this is supposed to be the one, right? Because she couldn't have seen that because she's on the other side of the whole thing. I don't understand. Okay, now I'm confused. Give us a moment. So do I like press it again? I'm confused. Okay, it seems like the guide for the lunch boxes is actually a little wrong, and now I need to really think on this here. Because it's not letting me use the thing it's telling me to use. Cool. Okay, I mean, we need to think this through. So, quote, during the cross-examination titled Apprehending the Suspect, when Angel says, ah yes, when I arrested her she mentioned the muffler shoes, ask further. After this, to add a new testimony, she gave up trying to use the phone on the wall and just used her cell phone. Press her on this, and then present the parking lot floor plans to contradict her. After this, you'll be asked to explain what Angel is lying about. But again, it's not giving me that option. Maybe I need to just press more on other stuff, and the guide just forgets to mention that. How odd. Okay. Okay, press on everything then. So where is this partition in the floor plans? I'm sure she means this wall next to the car. That's right. There was a wall there, about 6 feet high. She was obviously trying to hide herself. Quite a natural thing for a criminal to do. And what did you do then? Quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Hold it! You say quickly, were you close to the suspect? As I just said, I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time. Maybe I should press her for more details. Yeah, sure. I'd like to see this on the floor plans just to be safe. Lunchland car was... she was the visitor, thus she was parked in B block. So witnessed the murder from here. That would make it about 30 feet from the car, yeah. Is that correct, Miss Starr? Yes, that's right. But there was a chain link fence in front of you. I went over it, of course. Amazing, the cough-up queen, lunch lady, athlete indeed. It would have taken her a little time to climb over the fence, so she couldn't have gotten to my sister that fast. Yeah, that fence was about 9 feet high, too. So how did Miss Skye not get away? Ah yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. I saw it all, how she tried the phone on the wall, but had to use her cell instead. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Star, the resistance is futile. Maybe some of that stuff is what I needed to have, and then that would work. Ask about the muffler still. What exactly did you say? If I remembered exactly, I would have told you in the testimony. Cheeky. Cool. Yeah. And this one too. Hold it. She made to escape. Can you be more specific? She brushed aside my hand and ran. It was a terrible sight to see, like a dollop of lard on a pâté of foie gras. She even kicked over an oil drum at me. An oil drum. There was an oil drum lying on its side at the scene of the crime. But it's strange. What's that? If she wanted to escape, why didn't she run the other way? The parking lot entrance. That's right. It doesn't make any sense that she would run from behind the partition to the oil drums. Excellent. More mysteries. I wish we could solve a few before finding more, though. So Miss Skye tried to run. Yeah, and now we are back at this one. Okay, please tell me I can now show this as the thing, because otherwise something is really off here. Okay, now it works. Miss Starr, I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge against Miss Lana Skye. Objection! The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias. Well, who would have thought that you would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You who, together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago. Well, Miss Starr, this is a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How do you explain this? I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me, and I'll make you cough it all up. Let's look at the floor plans. You said you witnessed crime from this point. However, if that's true, you couldn't possibly have seen Miss Skye making that phone call. I believe you see what I'm getting at. That emergency phone was on the back side of this partition. If indeed you were in B block, you couldn't have seen it. Ah! Order, order. What is the meaning of this? It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch, she's coughing up lies. Grr. Objection! That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me a question. Tell us exactly what lie this witness has told the court. Here's where the counterattack begins. I can't afford to get this wrong. The witness lied about... Okay, this will be wrong, but I need to get this wrong to get the lunch box. It's... So what she saw is the wrong answer, but I need to get that for the lunchbox. She lied about what she saw. In other words, she didn't see Miss Skye using that emergency phone. It does seem hard to imagine how she could have. Very logical. What's the matter, Star? Cat got your lunchbox? Mr. Wright, I hate to bother you while you're celebrating your victory, but why would Miss Star lie like that? Why would she say that my sister had tried to use the phone but failed? It doesn't make any sense. Why lie about something so insignificant? Oh, dang, she's right. I mean, maybe she really did see her try to use the emergency phone. I see no room for doubt here. You ordered the ptui on rice, right? Mr. Wright, and I thought you had something here. One more try. I see it in your eyes. You haven't learned your lesson, have you? So that's exactly what lie this witness has told the court. Well, I can, and I did afford to get it wrong, but I had to because of the lunchbox. The witness lied about where she saw it, basically. Miss Skye tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. Therefore, it would be pointless for Miss Star to lie about it. Pointless to lie, I see. But say the witness did actually see Miss Skye using the emergency phone. It would mean Miss Star witnessed the crime from a different location. Objection! A different location? Now that's a pointless lie if I ever heard one. Objection! Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it. Let me ask a question to our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness when she saw the crime? All the testimony we've heard until now points in one direction. The place from where Miss Star witnessed this crime was here. Before I do that, I just check again. Next thing... Oh, crap. Exactly, this is kind of what I mean. Because I saved the game, but I actually need to get this wrong again. I wasn't reading ahead. The order of events. She lied about the order of events. Miss Skye used that emergency light phone before the murder. I see, I hadn't thought of that. That took the wind out of her sails. Mr. Wright, I hate to bother you while you're celebrating your victory, but why would anyone use the emergency phone before the murder? Huh? Just when you think he can't sink any lower, he amazes us. I applaud you, Mr. Wright. And that one. You ordered the orange peel lunchbox, right? I guess that teaches me to not get excited before the evidence. One more try. Okay, and now the correct one. It's really specific to get the lunchboxes. You'll be asked why Angel lied about where she saw the crime. Choose distance. Okay. Now we can do this. Objection! Objection! Okay, and now we go forward. Security room. Take that! This is the only place where she could have been. The security guard room. Indeed, the security room in the underground parking lot is well positioned. It's built on the second floor so you can see the entire lot. She would have been able to see the emergency phone from there. Yeah, my nose is itchy for some unknown reason. But why there? Ah, God damn. I can just... Still not done. Give me a second. But why there? There are many other places where she could have seen the phone. Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness, not being part of the prosecutor's office, couldn't park in A block. The only place where she could have seen the crime and the back of the partition is here. I remember in your testimony you said you brought a lunch to your boyfriend in the security room, yeah? Well, Miss Starr, how many years have I been getting the better of men? To think that the tables could be turned. Today, a man has got the better of Angel Starr. Oh no! Order, order. Witness. What have you done? You used to be a detective. You should know better. I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished. And I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails. The guilty? Is she talking about Miss Skye? Mr. Wright, doesn't this strike you as odd? Why did Miss Starr lie? It doesn't make sense. She could have just said she saw the crime from the security guard station. It wouldn't change anything. Exactly. This photograph tells all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. That truth still stands. Objection! It still stands. I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. What? If a witness is found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without a good reason. So tell us what her reason was, Mr. Wright. Me? Who else? Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Miss Starr witnessed the crime from the security guard station. But she lied and said she saw it from B block. It must make a vital difference, but what? What would that change? Again, distance to the crime is probably even the right call, I think. But more importantly, it gives me the Okay, I'll make a save just in case, because this is really specific, though. Distance to the crime. It changes the distance between her and the scene of the crime. Objection! My condolences, Mr. Wright, but one look at the floor plans and it's quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she could see. Objection! What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time it would take her to reach the scene of the crime. Miss Starr, you witnessed the crime from the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Skye? Well, witness? You. Yes? You ordered the squid wheels, right? Cool. The quality of my lunches has gone from low to inedible. I was bringing a PB&J lunch with fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend. Boysenberry for the boyfriend. He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the glass-walled station. And before I knew what I was doing, I found myself running toward the scene. But the door was locked. I couldn't open it. That's why I had to go through the visitors parking in B block. That's quite a detour. It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime. 5 minutes? This changes things considerably. But it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear it on my finest plastic spork. You have a point, and the spork is a wonderful invention. Would you like another caviar lunch? Absolutely. Uh-oh. Mr. Wright, you have to do something. Do I have any evidence to stop this? Don't know. Raising an objection is not always the right thing to do is the problem, and again... Here goes. 5 minutes between the witnessing of the murder and the arrest. Think about it. You could make a pasta in that amount of time, if you like it al dente. I've got lunch boxes that tie pasta into knots, Rookie. A 5-minute blank, isn't that strange? Strange? If you were a criminal, what would you do with 5 minutes, Your Honor? Well, I guess I'd flee the scene. Hey! Don't get the wrong idea, I didn't kill anyone. But you have the instincts of a killer, you would run. But this time was different. Miss Skye dawdled at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable. Ah! Well then, it seems we've come to the end of this testimony. The witness has a grudge against the defendant and a blank in her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, is the next witness ready to go? Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated this witness on account of her professional history. We did it! We screwed that can shut, Mr. Wright! That was too close. I'm afraid that the cough-up queen has been dethroned, and with that, court is adjourned. Hold it! Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered the squid wheels, right? That's the one she tried to foist off me. I prefer not to take the defense team's leftovers. Anything else to say? I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence. But what was that? Is this another one of her trick lunchboxes? My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Starr. Ah. Is this your jumbo lunchbox? Woohoo! A triple-decker! Out of deference to the witness's determination, I'll allow one more testimony. Let's hear about this decisive evidence. Like the Lunchland motto says, you won't be disappointed. What's she going to pull out of her lunchbox this time? Decisive evidence. I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? Two types of blood were found on this shoe. One was of course the victim's, and the other blood type matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence. Let's press on the evidence then. But what? There was a blood found on that shoe. Try Lunchland for all your lunch and decisive evidence needs. Objection! Witness, what's the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence? Simple. As I've already said, I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself. And you had blood tests performed. Didn't I mention? I have 3 boyfriends in forensics. Of course she does. In any case, Your Honor, I can't accept this as evidence. What? You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, this shoe is illegal evidence, at least for the time being. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Edgeworth sure is celebrating. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective. As I mentioned previously, this shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensics department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Edgeworth is looking pretty sullen. You could at least study some evidence law, really. We're busy. We're playing ace attorney. Can't study evidence law when you're an ace attorney. The prosecution's complaints notwithstanding, it appears that this evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. However, it seems you have yet another count against you, witness. Anything to ensure that the guilty are properly judged. White enamel shoe bears traces of blood from Goodman and Lana Skye. Cool. Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness. Okie dokie. Let's press. I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I was... Look, Jared. Hold it! Why did you lie about those 5 minutes? I guess you could say I just wanted people to look at the results. The results. How many times do I have to say this? I saw the chief prosecutor stab the victim before my very own eyes. Compared to that, a 5-minute blank means nothing. Then why didn't you just tell the truth? Don't make me laugh. We're dealing with the most untrustworthy of the vile lot known as prosecutors. Falsified evidence, arranged testimonies, erasing and manipulating evidence. When you fight monsters, you need to use every trick in the book. This when the suspect is admitting she did it? But false testimony is the most despicable crime of all, Miss Starr. Let's just get this over with. And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? Hold it! And you found the shoe at the scene of the crime. I detained the chief of prosecutor and notified the police department. I wanted to make myself useful while I was waiting for the police to arrive. So like an ill-trained pooch, you snuck off with a shoe. I was afraid someone would erase the chief prosecutor's crime. This shoe was my secret weapon if that should happen. See this fashionable basket I have here? It carries more than lunchboxes, gentlemen. I'm happy for you and your lunchbox bag, really. In any case, you removed valuable evidence from the scene of the crime. Now, tell us what you did next. 2 types of blood were found on the shoe. One was of course the victim's, and the other blood type matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. Oh right, I need to... Types of blood, hold it! So you brought it to the forensics department. If you're going to submit something as evidence in court, you need it approved. To do that, evidence must be analyzed by a forensics expert. And a civilian can just like bring it there and say, I didn't tamper with this at all. It's fine. It's fine. I super didn't tamper with the shoe. I brought it to you completely. I never even touched it. It's good. And she got away with her little coup because she used to be a detective. The shoe does appear to have bloodstains on it. Well, the man was stabbed after all. And that blood belonged to the victim, Detective Goodman. As I said, there were 2 types of blood found on the shoe. And the other blood type matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. Hold it! You can't say for sure the blood belonged to the defendant with a blood test. You claim to know something about blood tests, rookie. Well, speak up. Well, blood comes in 4 types, A, B, O, and AB. However, you can't tell from a blood test whether a murder was committed in cold blood. Man, what? My nose itchy, I'm sneezing. Ugh. But that's actually decently typical for me, though. That happens. Ugh. That's just a figure of speech, Mr. Wright. Actually, we can differentiate between millions of types with all the blood tests out there. Which means that we can more or less narrow any sample of blood down to just one person. Or so I hear. That's pretty specific. If I had a little more time, I would have gotten DNA test results. But they said there's very little doubt it could be anyone's but Miss Lana Skye's. So the suspect's blood was found on the victim's shoe. That ties her directly to the death of Detective Goodman. I was afraid he was going to say that. Hold it! I can't let this evidence go through without a fight. You ordered the peppered fish guts, right? There we go. That's what I wanted. I needed to press on all the notions, I think. Some like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some like your client. She's in enough hot water to make a whole vat of soup. Mr. Wright, do you or don't you have a problem with this shoe? A problem? This is critical. Is there a problem with the victim's shoe? Remind me again, because now, there's no more lunch boxes in the courtroom, so now I don't even have the lunchbox guide to look at, so I'm super on my own, as I should be, really. Well, for one, she's wearing dark shoes, so that doesn't fit. Not white enamel. So, yeah, there is a problem, for sure. Well, I'll save, just, you know, because, but that is super an issue, though. If I'm not imagining things, I'd say there's one critical problem with this evidence. A clear contradiction. That gleam in your eyes. You're still young, rookie. I'd give you a peppered fish gut now. But you couldn't take the heat, could you? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What is contradictory about the victim's shoe? Show us the problem with this evidence. Well, the color, for one. I mean, it's the wrong color. Is it like any part of the shoe or what? Huh. Because now I'm wondering if the game wants me to think of something else instead. Because, like, there is a pool of this as well. I mean, if the victim bled on the floor, why wouldn't she step in it as well? I don't know, but... I don't know. I mean, it is the wrong color. Okay, I call bullshit. Because that's the wrong colored shoe. See? Crime photo says dark shoes. Like, I have every once in a while had some issues with like, I love Ace Attorney games, but sometimes the courtroom scenes are flawed and, like, a little wrongly designed. And this is an example of that. The civilian presented, well, former detective, but nonetheless, presented evidence as the wait, victim's shoe? Crap! Sorry, my mistake. Nope, disregard that. That's my brain fart. Sorry. Nope, I'll take that back. I have issues with them, but that was just my bad. Sorry. That's disregard. There are issues, but that wasn't one of them. I super was just brain farting there. Sorry. But one example would be in the first case. With the thinking man clock, you know. When they say, I believe the difference they are talking about in time is like, what, 3 hours or something in the, like, before you realize it's more than that. Like, you know, add the 3 to the 12 or thinking in like the 12-hour clocks, right? The problem is the game never specified where we are, so in relation to Paris, you have no idea of knowing what the time difference is supposed to be. I always found that to be really cheap, and just like, how am I supposed to know that? Like, it's super doesn't make any like it doesn't give the player the option to actually make out that on their own just by guessing, this item, and then it just happens to have that really random BS reasoning under the item that just like, how were we supposed to know that? We don't know where we are, and we still don't know where we are, because on a couple of occasions, some characters call Phoenix or others Americans, but almost always they refer to this place as this country and nothing else. And even if we're in America, what part of America? Because there's a number of different time zones in America anyway, and we still wouldn't know that. So that I always, when I started Ace Attorney, in that first case, I was like, I resent that. That part I always didn't like. That first case with that thinking man clock, like, how am I supposed to know the time difference between here and there? I don't know where here is. At all. And even if they are in America, what part of America is that? And again, they're not supposed to be. Yeeti, you're right. You're absolutely right. It does take place in Japanofornia, a mix of Japan and Cali. That is true. Like both the court system and the sort of vaguely mentioned geography is indeed a combination of Japan and apparently indeed California or whatever that is, right? Because I remember, like, there's like weirdly, like, there are like Japanese landmark-ish places outside, even if we are in a Japanifornia. That's true, but the point still stands that in first game, case 1, you're supposed to somehow make out on your own the specific time difference between this place that was 1, not named then, 2nd, what is the time difference, like, are we using the time of Japan or California? And you would need to then work out the time difference to France, to Paris, from nothing. That was my problem. Like, the only way to progress case 1 is to guess the evidence. Like, try this one, and then just under that the game tells, oh, that's the time difference is 14 hours. How was I supposed to know that? Like, later on, especially from the wikis, we know we are in Japanofornia. That's true. But 1, the time difference between Japanofornia and anywhere is not specified anywhere out, like, before or after that specific evidence item. And the place where we are is not specified to the player in the first case before or after, really. So that's what I mean. Like, you're right that we are in Japanofornia, but it's not, like, the game doesn't in case 1 give the player the information to know or even have a vague guess at what sort of time difference we are talking about in relation to Paris. That was a really big point of why the evidence is the contradictory part of that story moment. That's what I mean. That was like the first case was like really left a bad taste in my mouth. Like, the first courtroom thing in the entire game has that, like, and I was worried after that, and every once in a while the logic doesn't quite hold together in the courtrooms. But, you know, details. But this specific one, this one here was my mistake. My mind went like the lady's shoe instead of the victim's shoe. This was my bad. But the point I'm making about the first case, I stand behind that notion, though. But again, you're right, we are in Japanofornia, though. That is true. But still, I hope I made my point sort of, like, at least, I hope it makes sense to at least explain where I'm coming from with my criticism there. Okay, before I do that, let's just fully check the shoe, just so we know what we're... Oh, nope. Shoe. Let's just check the shoe first and just see, like, all the yellow spots. Ah, there's blood here too. On the sole of the shoe, it's got to be the victim's. He must have stepped in a puddle of his own blood. All this blood, it's horrible. Blood might be an important clue. It could, yeah. So that's probably what they want me to check. This blood, it's my sister's, right? It appears so. Lana's right hand was bandaged when I saw her in jail. She must have cut herself at the time of the crime. Poor sis. Okay, cool. Then let's make the save again, just to, like, you know. I've had to make some intended mistakes anyway, so... Okay, yeah, problem, here goes. And let's show, I would imagine, the sole of the shoe. I wonder if you noticed. There's blood on the bottom of the shoe. Don't mess with me, rookie. Or it'll be your blood on the bottom of my shoe. Indeed, there is quite a bit of blood on the bottom of the shoe. It makes sense. The victim was stabbed with a knife. What could possibly be contradictory about the blood on the bottom of his shoe? Okay, give us a moment. Well, there's no blood on the floor, so what did he step into, basically? Because there was no blood to step into, right? Yep, that's what I'm going with. Here goes. The problem lies in the footprint. The footprint. Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. Then isn't it strange? Why weren't there any bloody footprints found by the scene of the crime? Aha! As you can see, there were no traces of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim about the shoe. Objection! This picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints. Wouldn't you know? Like, you're supposed to have all the evidence of the place, right? So you should know what the floor looks like, or looked like, or... Objection! Then where are they, Mr. Edgeworth? Because we checked the scene and found nothing of the sort. Order, order, order. Well, witness. What, huh? Great going, Mr. Wright. But it's true that the lack of a footprint is a contradiction, but when we have to ask... But then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint. Oh, that's true. There has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint. Think, Mr. Wright, think. I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions. What? Hold it. I see. Now I get it. Get what? Interestingly, there was a hold it from Edgeworth, but no sound effect for a hold it. But because they do have the hold it sound effect for Edgeworth, because this case was created after the third game to add into the DS version, and in the third game, the hold it for Edgeworth was at least at that point created anyway. So interesting that there was no hold it sound effect to that. Just thinking out loud here. But then again, no, because Edgeworth isn't prosecuted in the second one, so it doesn't really matter that. Yeah, so it would be fine, I suppose. Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped. There is one vital hint to the truth in her testimony. But what are you talking about? Think back to when she told us about apprehending the suspect. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. Oh, she's beautiful, but a deadly. A predator, this one, a leopard woman, rower. Yes. I thought that was strange. It was a strange thing for the normally cool-headed chief to do. No kidding. Now, witness, allow me to ask a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty? Oh, that, Not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth. Though apparently you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the lunchbox factory. Witness, well, was the oil drum empty? The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. Water? What does that mean? Still don't get it, Mr. Wright? Do you want to know the reason she knocked it over? The real reason. Aha! You don't mean... Yes, the suspect knocked over that oil drum for one reason and one reason alone. To erase the blood stains that would become evidence against her. Because then she wanted to confess anyway. Edgeworth, you're not making a lot of sense there. Wah. That ties things up quite nicely. The bloodstains left on the victim's shoes tie her quite clearly to this murder. Then, after the deed was done, she knocked over the oil drum to erase the telltale signs. Why, that's a prosecutor's specialty, erasing evidence. That reminds me, Miss Skye's right hand was hurt. Didn't she say she'd cut herself when she stabbed him? So that's when my sister's blood got on the shoe. Well, I see no reason to prolong this trial. Mr. Wright, do something, please! What? What can I do? Your sister has confessed to the crime and she tried to conceal it. But, again, confess and conceal, how does those... Enough. There's no need for further debate. The verdict, Your Honor. Very well. But Angel Star is on the prosecution's side. No kidding, that's how it works. She could have been lying about the water. Sure. This court finds the defendant Miss Lana Skye. Hold it! Hi. Little girl, what did you just say? Huh? Me? Did you just say that I, Angel Star, was on the prosecution's side? Well, yeah, you are. You're saying my sister hid the evidence by erasing the bloody footprints. Well. I thought you'd had your fill, but here you are, demanding a second helping. Another lunchbox. A lunchbox called evidence. Wait, witness, don't tell me you have something else. Objection! The time for deliberations is past. Any further comments and you will be held in contempt of court. Your threats don't scare the cough-up queen. Look at this. A photograph. I had it just in case anyone had the gall to suggest that the white shoe didn't belong to the victim. I see no room for error in this evidence. Mr. Wright, wait, look at the asphalt in this photo. Hey, it's clearly wet. Yes, that's true. Erasing the last trace of doubt from the court's mind. Immediately after the murder, the crime scene was washed with water. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I guess I couldn't help after all. It's not your fault. I knew I couldn't win this case from the beginning. And it seems this is what your sister wanted anyway. I'm sorry, Mia. Right, wet or not, don't be so quick to throw in the towel. Mia! Get yourself up off the asphalt, take another good look. Don't give up, not until the bitter end. This is the last piece of evidence. Very well. This time I'd like to declare the verdict for good. Objection! Your Honor, wait. What is it with your people? Can't I hand down my verdicts in peace anymore? Whatever it is, can it wait? No, it can't, then it will be too late. Look at this photograph, the last one submitted. This trial isn't over until we give each piece of evidence proper consideration. So, Wright, are you saying there's a problem with this latest piece of evidence? Yeah, I'll think later. But didn't we just, like, say that we can't accept evidence that isn't approved by the police department, and that photo is not, because she didn't take it to the forensics people, so... Just like asking questions here. Yeah, there's a problem. Right or wrong, I've got to go ahead with this. I suppose since we've come this far, we should give every claim a fair shake. Very well, Mr. Wright. Show the court the problem in this photograph. Okay, that is a lot of stuff. I think what we're going at is that. I'm trying to, I have a memory of finding that item there. I'm wondering what's the reasoning. Well, probably because, yeah, because it couldn't have been there from the beginning, so there's gotta be something from the murder scene itself in there, basically. Because the car would either have not worked, or more likely would have just blown the scarf away from the exhaust pipe while driving, right? So it has to have been put there after the car was parked. So, take that! The problem in this photograph is here. What's this? There's something poking out of the car's muffler. Wait just a moment, Mr. Edgeworth. Your Honor. You just said muffler. However, I see no trace of a muffler or a scarf of any kind in this photograph. A muffler is also a part of on a car or motorcycle, Your Honor. Just think of it as part of the exhaust system, a pipe. I see, and I see. What's that suspicious-looking cloth sticking out of the car's muffler? So what if there is something sticking out of the muffler? What does that have to do with this case? Nothing, absolutely nothing. Objection! Sorry, Miss Starr, but it's not going to be that easy. In fact, you've already told us why this is important to the case. You said as much in your testimony. What? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has on his mind. Tell us why you think this piece of cloth in the muffler is related to the case. Oh, man. The nasty thing is, I can't save when it pulls up the evidence screen to me. I always kind of dislike that because it sometimes puts you on a really nasty spot. Like again, because I didn't use walkthrough like to this case, I believe, because I was actually away from home at that point, and I didn't have like I don't like looking at like stuff on the phone. That's like ugh. So I save scummed a lot to avoid getting a lot of damage there. But I think it's this one, the word muffler from the phone, probably. Take that. Miss Starr, recall your testimony for the court. Ah yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. Ha 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 ha. I have you now, somehow. Muffler, arr, arr. Yes, exactly. Could it be that the muffler you heard mentioned was actually this exhaust pipe? If so, that means this piece of cloth is vital evidence. Oh, arr. Cool. I mean, she reacted rather harshly there, but well, it seems that we'll have to suspend the proceedings. Suspend? I find myself wondering about that piece of cloth. If we leave any question unanswered, here we do a disservice to the law. Have the car at the crime scene inspected at once and bring me that cloth. The verdict will wait until after we've seen all the evidence. Agreed? I suppose so. Phew. That was close. But we made it. At least for now. This court will adjourn for a 30-minute recess. It's lunchtime after all. He's still hungry? To be continued. Cool. Oh, man. Let's see. Excellent. So, I've actually been live today for like 4 hours, and I need to like get a night's sleep and all. So, if you're watching this on YouTube, I hope you've enjoyed this, and if you have, please do drop a like or a comment, or even subscribe or share if you want to, because it would really help. And join me here live on Twitch, because it's fun to see me derp around in Ace Attorney live. I hope, maybe, at least, sort of. So, yeah, but I'll hopefully see you again next time.